What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. Lot to go over. Philly spring training, Quentin Grimes breakout. What's next for the Eagles? And the Eagles sign Baun and Barkley. Let's go.
I mean, how silly is that? Man, we're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday brought to you by our doc, make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right down there on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Buckets, Ryan Alizik, Noah Eaton, Greg Mlakovic. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. A lot to go over. We didn't think we were going to have a lot to go over, and here we are. Here we are because of Howie. A lot to go over because of Uncle Hal. Or Uncle Hal. Hey, Hal. Philly spring training. We'll touch on it a little bit. We're still not even there yet.
Yep.
Quentin Grimes. I mean, he broke out for a game.
Hey, two games.
But I do like Quentin Grimes. We'll maybe touch on Sixers if we have some time. What's next for the Eagles? We'll dive into that a little bit. Eagles re-signed Zack Baun today. Saquon Barkley yesterday. Obviously, Barkley was already signed here, but a little extension, a little more walking around money. All right, that's how you take care of your leaders. That's how you do it. But we'll talk about Baun. We'll talk about Barkley in a minute. But our poll question sort of ties right into it. The Eagles will re-sign Mekhi Becton next. He's the next guy off the board for the Eagles. Agree? Disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation tonight. I don't think Milton Williams is back. You know, you're talking about a price tag of like $12 million a year. I just don't see how you do it. You got to sign Jalen Carter. You know, Jordan Davis is on his final year of his deal, I believe.
His
close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or is that an option year the year after?
Yeah.
But either way, coming to the end of that one, you just have a lot of guys to sign. You know, you just spend money, obviously, on Zack Baun. You spend a little bit more money on Saquon Barkley. So you have that money allocated. I think he has to be the next guy. You know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, Tower Steen this, Tower Steen that. Like, Tower Steen was a good rotational guy for us, a good young rotational piece. You know, he can sort of play everywhere on the line, but center. I mean, I think being deep there matters. I do. Because you're an injury away, and if you don't have those types of guys, you know, backing these guys up, I think it hurts you. But the other thing is, you know, we just led the league in rushing. We were dominant up front. You know, he's a big reason. I mean, our line's awesome regardless, but him and Landon Dickerson, you know, sort of road graders as the two guards is a good thing to have. A really good thing to have. So I don't know why you would want to let this guy go. He rejuvenated his career here. He obviously loves it here. He's made that very clear. He's another guy. He's a guy who's talked about taking less to stay here. If less is enough, right? Makes sense. But he's talked about those things. So, you know, knowing all that, he's got to be my next target. Because I just think the other guys are out of your price range. Unless, you know, Mekhi Becton gets a ton of money somewhere else. But the difference of him and Sweat and Milton Williams is they were drafted here and they had success essentially their whole time. Where Becton was a top 5 pick, failed miserably in New York, rejuvenated his career under Stoutland. Does that get paid as much? That's my question. I don't think that gets paid as much as those other guys, unless you find a desperate team. Does he want to go to the desperation team? That's not going to be any good. There's so many things he has to answer himself. But I'll agree to the poll. I think he's the next guy up. What that money is, I don't know.
Yeah. I've been on the agree train for a long time at Mekhi, and I think over the last couple of days, I think I've switched over to the disagree train, and it doesn't have anything to do with Mekhi and what he's done with us. I think it has more to do with Howie kind of shocking everybody and re-signing Saquon, and we're extending Saquon the way he did. right? You almost didn't need to. I understand why he did, right? He was able to double the cap savings because of it, right? I think Saquon jumped from a 6.5 cap or a 13 cap hit down to 6, something in that range, right? So I think that unexpected raise / savings allowed you to probably pay more for Baun than we may have anticipated, and I think that might result in Mekhi being passed over and joining the likes of Sweat and Williams probably on another team next year. I echo though what you said, Tommy. I thought he was awesome for us. I thought he was a part of one of the best offensive lines in football, maybe football history when you look back at it, right? But I know they like Becton, or I'm sorry, I know they like Steen. They trusted him. They drafted him early. They can always draft again. They trust Stoutland, obviously, right, to roll over people. I think you could sign a guy like Fred Johnson to a lot cheaper of a deal. Not that he's an interior guy, but as a swing either tackle type of depth piece to fill in spots there for your offensive line. So I'm going to disagree, and I think they're going to roll Tyler Steen out this year. Finally, we're gonna, in my mind, finally you get to see the Tyler Steen year that we've been anticipating for almost 2 seasons now since he drafted him. You're muted, Noah.
You guys do not work a computer in modern day. It's amazing.
Well done.
What?
Now
we're good. All right, awesome. Outstanding. No, I mean it may benefit Tyler, when he finally gets a shot to leap into the starting lineup. I mean, I know Cam Jurgens obviously at a different position on the O-line, and he had Kelsey to look up to before Kelsey retired. I certainly think that would help him, but I don't know. I'm going to agree to the poll here because I think Becton, he obviously showed that he was able to turn his career around. He had a great year last year. As you guys alluded to, he wants to be here, and hell, if he's willing to take a number that Howie is comfortable with and the team is comfortable with, a team-friendly deal, if you will, I see no reason to not bring him back. I mean, if you're Mekhi Becton, why would you take a chance to go to some desperate football team? I mean, you might as well go back to the Jets. You might as well go back to that dumpster fire. I mean, that's pretty much what he would be doing if he went to the Jags or somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's clear that under Stoutland, his career is starting to rejuvenate, and I think he should take advantage of it and stay here in Philadelphia. I mean, if I'm Mekhi Becton, I try to stay here in Philly. But I think he'll be back here, but we'll see how Howie and Jeff feel about that. But
yeah, I agree to it also. I think Schefter said it right after the Super Bowl that he's going to get like 4 years, $40 million, either somewhere else or with the Eagles, but he's inclined to stay with the Eagles. So that's from Adam Schefter, so I'm just going to roll with it.
They talk about you probably get him down to $7.5 million a year too, over that 4-year deal, and he probably takes that deal, right? I mean, I don't talk about other people's money, right? It ain't my money, but my point is like I don't see, to your point, like if it's 4 years, 10 is like sort of where he's at, and knowing how much he wants to be here, you could probably get away with 8, right? You could probably get away with maybe a couple million less a year and maybe some more incentives into that deal.
I'm gonna disagree. Not because I don't think Becton's not going to be back. I think he will be. I just think that they're going to, because of how well he did here, switching over from guard, how well he worked with Stoutland. I think that not that Howie's not going to think that he's important because he is. He played really well last year, but I think they're going to go after somebody to help shore up that like the other corner spot first. Whether it's going to be whether it's Isaiah Rodgers, if you bring him back, or if you bring Slay back on a more team-friendly deal. Because I think because Becton's so inclined to be able to stay here or wants to be able to come back, just because of how well he did end up playing last year, I think we can afford to wait a little bit longer because, again, are people going to really take a chance on him playing guard? Are you going to move him back out to tackle again? Because he succeeded so well here at guard because of Lane and because of Jurgens, right? And the line they're here for. So, again, I'm going to disagree with the poll. I think that he comes back, but I just think they're going to prioritize something else first.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
And the other side of it too is Cam Jurgens needs to be extended as well, right? And I almost would put Cam Jurgens' extension on a little bit higher priority than Becton, just in I mean, he's on his rookie deal. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl, right? All Pro. He's the next guy on that offensive line to be truly extended and be paid like everybody else, right? So I think we want to keep him. And I'm not saying how he can't work this all out, right? But I think, in another way too, he might be more of a priority than kind of Ryan in your eyes too, right? Like, not that Becton's not there, but maybe just not next, right? And maybe it's Jurgens, maybe it's Rodgers, maybe it's Slay. Because, I mean, Tommy, you even talked about it too. If the money's the money, right? That's what Slay said today, right? If the money's the money between the two teams, I'm back with the Eagles. Right? If the money's the same, you know what I mean? Like if everything's the same and all options are there, then yeah, I'm back. Or even if it might not be exactly the same, but it's close enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to run it back. Slay said that today too. So
yeah, I mean, these guys
in that same mindset.
The other thing I think we don't look at when we look at pro athletes is like, they don't necessarily want to move.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want to pack their bags again. I mean, they love the stability. Stability matters to these guys too. So if you can plant your flag,
right,
for 4 years,
I mean,
people not only matters to the player, matters to the team too. And I think if they want a shot at repeating, retaining as many of your core guys is obviously pivotal.
Yeah, no.
Someone commented that Dallas is 30. I would let him walk. I don't think he's a necessity.
Well, I think Dallas is. Does he have one more year? Dallas have one more year?
He's going into his last year.
All right, so yeah, he's got one more year. I think that they probably end up drafting a tight end. My pipe dream is them getting Tyler Warren. I don't think he's going to fall that far. I don't think we're going to trade up for him, but that would be fun.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not that playoff he had.
No, not at all. That kid's disgusting. But no, to go back to the guys don't want to move thing. People poo-poo the contracts that MLB players get nowadays. They're getting these 10, 12-year contracts. Like, you're giving these guys solidarity. Obviously, you're not going to get those contracts in the NFL. But giving those guys that, hey, you're our guy for the next, say 4, 5 years, right? That's a big deal for these guys because they're not playing until they're 40. Nobody's, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Like, these guys that are playing O-line, running backs, wide receivers, stuff like that, they're not doing this stuff. So.
No, it's true. I mean, your shelf life's quick, right? You got to be sort of in and out, in your NFL career. So you got to sort of make your bag too.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I think is interesting, though, is, and I don't think it's talked about enough, like, I think Jeffrey Lurie gives Howie Roseman such an advantage with his ability or willingness, I should say, to pay to pay these bonuses up front, right? To pay this upfront guaranteed money to help these contracts, to be able to work these contracts out. Like, it's insane to me that you can make Saquon Barkley the highest paid running back, but yet you still get a cost savings on the salary cap because of the way you were able to do bonuses, right? And the signing bonuses and structures and stuff like that. So, as much as we sometimes wonder what Jeffrey Lurie does, I think he gives Howie Roseman an incredible advantage in the ability to to structure the contracts the way he does, because I don't think anybody else does it that way, and we see that, right?
Well, you know what Jeffrey does? Here's what he does. And this is why we won 2 chips in the last 7 years. He signs that check and lets everybody else do their job. What does Jared do? Sign the check, be the janitor, the head coach, the caterer, the quarterback, game day security, you name it. And
Long live Jerry Jones.
And that's why he hasn't done anything in the last 30 years, and I hope that man never dies.
Long live Jerry Jones. But yeah, like to touch on the Saquon thing, like even with this, you're going to give him $20 million a year with that extension. If you average it out, he's only making like 15 because he was making like 12 over like 3 years or something. It's like if you average it out, it's really only 15 million a year. And I forget who I was talking with somebody about this earlier today. Like, I don't mind giving him the extension this early because it shows you, like, these players that you're going into free agency. Hey, look, you perform here, we're gonna pay you. That's what's gonna happen, right? So, and he's only signed through age 31, which statistically speaking, like that's the year that like running backs tend to fall off. So let's obviously, I want him to be here for as long as he possibly can, and be Adrian Peterson or whatever he's gonna be. But like, hey, if you run the tires off him over the next 5 years and he retires with another Super Bowl or 2, I don't think he's gonna be that mad about it. So
yeah. And it's not just Saquon that they've done it with, right? And it's not just free agents. They've had a history of doing that with all their rookies they draft, right? How often do we talk about them signing their rookies a year early?
Yeah, they did it with Devontae last year.
They did it with Devontae, but even AJ, right? We traded for AJ. AJ balled out for us, and then we signed him, right? We gave him his money. We gave him his bag, right? So you're absolutely right, though, right? Like, you show that you're going to be here for, you have the potential to be a long-term piece here. You're going to get taken care of, right? You're going to get your first one, and it might be the big one, right? It might be that big bag or just start the process. But if you're going to be an integral part of this team, you're going to get taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and you show the leadership he showed, all that stuff. All that stuff matters. I mean, it matters in the locker room. It matters to this football team. So you're showing also your younger players, if you're a true leader, and we win, you get taken care of, man.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you quick. I don't care if we just gave you a deal. You know what I mean? If you become that important of a piece, we're going to make sure you're taken care of. And that trickles down.
For sure.
That trickles down because now that work ethic, and we talk about guys, it's a copycat league. I'm gonna copy off the guys who make the most money, who are the stars. If your stars are going about it the right way, I don't care what anybody says. You come on and debate me all day. Guys follow the money. Guys follow the money. And that's why the Sixers haven't got past second round. Guys follow the money. So if your biggest money guys are, Mr. Softy and Uncle Nee and all the things that we've dealt with, that's sort of what you get.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Meanie,
Brad.
I saw that, Meanie.
Yeah,
just came over.
Bosa.
Joey Bosa.
Joey.
Not bad. Good player. Good edge rusher.
Would you?
We'll see. Depends on the number.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was here. He was here. In 2 years ago? He was fighting fans in the parking lot, or yelling at people in the parking lot. Yeah.
That be,
I don't think he's coming here. I don't think he's coming here. That'd be hilarious, though.
Chris says, if you guys had to pick one guy to return, Rodgers, Williams, or Sweat, who are you taking?
Oh,
that's easy. That's easy for me.
I think Rodgers.
I just think Slay's going only because I don't think Slay will be back.
No,
I think Sweat was going to be gone regardless.
I'm taking Milton Williams. 100%.
Yeah, Williams had a great year, but I mean, you can't put every last dollar into tackle.
What are you got?
What are you doing?
I lean Williams, but I like the Rodgers as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think
Isaiah
Williams
Rodgers
is the
played
better-
every game
I like
last year, I think.
Rodgers whether Slade's back or not, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because Slade's literally only one more year. He said that. He's been open with that. Whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, it's one more.
So okay,
So-
I think Williams is the better player, but Rodgers is the better fit. I think it's what we need.
Hell, I'd love to keep both, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to, I'm taking Williams back just because of how well he played next to Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter.
Just because of how well he played against him. Like, you have options at corner. Like you're probably going to draft somebody. You have the option to move Coop outside. Not that I'd really want to. You have the option to do that. Like, you're not hurting at cornerback. It would, I think you're bringing back. I think Slade comes back at a slower number. That's what I think happens. I'd like Rodgers back if Slade doesn't come back, but you can find, another guy like Isaiah Rodgers out there. Plus, like, you got younger guys here. Like, how bad? And Keely Ringo's a solid player. He's been, in this defense there for the last couple of years.
I think he's close too.
So, like, I'm sure you could plug somebody in there, and then again, whenever Howie realizes that there's a hole in the defense or a hole somewhere, he finds a way to get somebody in there. And again, obviously, we have the DC who found Zack Baun last year. I'm sure he'll have input on bringing somebody in. There'll be somebody get cut. Somebody who wants to do like a similar thing to like Becton, like, hey, all right, let me get fixed. I'll take a smaller number to come over here, have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, an opportunity to go to the playoffs, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not overly worried about it. But
I agree with you. I mean, Milton Williams is the best player out of those three. It's not even close. I don't care, Josh Sweat. I mean, great celebration. I always thought he's just been good. I never thought he's been great, and he's going to go get great money. Right. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Right. You earn that. You have a monster one day. It's fine. You get a payday. But I always thought he's been good. I mean, never a problem. But also, I don't know if he ever was a pass rusher people think he is either. So I think there's people that like overrated him, and there's people who underrate him, where he's sort of in that middle, which is where he belongs. Good pass rusher.
Yeah, at times he played like a monster. And At other times he didn't look so good. So
great. Yeah, great gets the money he gets. You know what I mean? Like great game changers, game wreckers. Not a game wrecker. I think Milton Williams is more of a game wrecker than he is, essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, Milton Williams in the backfield all year. So Isaiah Rodgers, good player. I like Isaiah. I don't give a shit if I'm down to Kelly Ringo. I don't care at that point because I went up front. You know what I mean? I went up front. Now it takes two to tango, but I got to trust that I got four guys still in my secondary coming back and my middle linebacker that I shouldn't be that worried if my cornerback depth takes a little hit this year, right? I don't want that to happen because I thought our biggest asset going into this season was how deep we were. We were super deep back there. So you can't have everybody back there like we're talking about. So, give me the best play. You know what I mean? Who's the best player? Now, realistically, Chris, I don't think we can afford Milton Williams. I don't know how we afford it. So, if you're asking me realistically who I want back, then I'll go Isaiah Rodgers because that's the most realistic option to come back. So that it's tough. It's tough because you're gonna be giving Jalen Carter the bag, babe.
I'm interested to see what Milton Williams gets.
This is where you start getting 6th-round picks playing. Because you can't get the whole line in the bag. Like Jalen Carter's gonna get paid, and I'm gonna tell you who's gonna get paid after that. Nolan Smith's gonna get paid after that. That's how that's gonna work because they're your best two players on that defensive front.
And right? Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett's going to be
here.
Got to pay him
Yankees in the 90s. We just pay everybody because
you pay them all.
Just
load it up, Howie.
I feel like Jeffrey's the kind of older guy who think he can die any day now. You know what I mean? Like he's almost living like any day's his day to die. Where Jerry thinks he's got another 20 left. Yeah. Right. Where Jeffrey over the last 7 years feel like any day could be the day. So he just spent. He's just giving up money up front. Which I never knew you could do that. Like I never knew there was ways around the cap. Everybody said, "Well, Howie knows ways around the cap," but I never really understood it. And listen, you learn something at 42, right? You can't be against learn. I know sports. I never gave a shit about the cap or money. That's not my job to know. My job's the know talent and get the guys who are the dryer sheets right? They're stuck in Excel. I'm here to help them. That's what I'm here to do. So my old job with Howie was to help him in the draft, which I did. Okay. I'll take full credit for this. I take full credit after Jalen Reagor because that video is viral.
Hey, you said go draft out of the SEC, and I'd say that worked pretty fucking well.
Go draft team captain from winning teams.
Yep.
You want to change the damn culture? You got a bad culture? Yeah. Change it then. You know, you change it. Ain't TCU. Ain't no horn frog.
No.
Right? Quentin Williams is the other guy, or Quentin Johnson. He stinks out loud for the Chargers too. So they didn't learn. Whoever drafted him didn't learn their lesson. As soon as I seen Reagor stink, I never go back there. They ain't a wide receiver factory. All right, that's like the old. I don't even know what
JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah, like I ain't going.
No, it's fucking what? Where did he go? Stanford? That guy stunk.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to somewhere like I go where pedigree is. Right. So if I'm going to Penn State, I'm going for linebackers. That's what they're known for. That doesn't mean they don't get other good players, right? Edge rushers, like you go places because those schools have a history of getting those guys for whatever reason, right? I know about Alabama and Georgia under Saban and Kirby Smart. They're built like pro teams.
Yep.
Because both guys have a pro gene in them, per se. They're built like pro clubs. That's how they're built. They're built up front. They're built in the trenches. And their skill position players are fucking filthy, excuse my language. So, I don't know. I can keep swinging and missing, or I can just say, oh, you guys put those things out. I need those things. Go where it's needed. Like, CD came from Oklahoma. He didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't come from TCU. There's levels of this stuff.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson was the biggest miss ever. The Arcega-Whiteside, that was brutal. Justin Jefferson, how do you fuck that up?
Oh, Buck, it's every nerd in the country.
National championship.
Every nerd in the country try telling me, Buck, listen to this. Every nerd in the country, he can't, he's just a slot guy. I said, oh, what? No, he's not. I said, I don't care if you get 100 catches in my backyard. You understand? But you get 100 catches in the damn SEC playing that type of schedule. I don't care where you caught him. I don't care if you got 100 catches on the sideline. You're better than the guy from TCU. And everybody told me I was wrong. I didn't think he was going to be that guy. You know what I mean? I don't know how everybody said that, but I knew he was the best receiver in the draft. That wasn't hard. It was the easiest draft of all time. It was Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and you can really interchange those guys because they're both filthy.
Not only that, Justin Jefferson
just won a national championship.
Elite talent.
And we go back to the national championship, right? Like you go back to a winner.
You take winning guys. I used to get so mad watching the draft. They're drafting guys from, it's just the most random, Power 5 schools are taking guys out of Oakland or Oregon State or something.
I love the Lord and Savior, but
come on.
I'm not necessarily going to Texas Christian University for a game-changing wide receiver. Yeah. I'm not assuming the holy water sprinkled on Jalen here, guys. I don't think Jalen got any of it in his time there.
You got to relax. It's Ash Wednesday. People out there celebrate that, right?
I celebrate too. I'm an Italian guy. You know what I mean? I celebrate too, but I also keep shit real. Right? I know for a fact that Jesus Christ didn't put water on Jalen Reagor. I watched his tape too.
Just Tim Tebow.
His highlights weren't good enough. Like his highlight videos aren't good enough. Like you watch the guys highlight and be like, is it really electric? Right? Like his highlights were like, man, I feel like he's open. I feel like he's wide open every time nobody's covering anybody.
Because they don't play defense in the pack.
Where Justin Jefferson was toasting the country.
Big 12, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson college highlights should get you 6 to midnight. That's how delicious his college highlights are. And if you just turned on the game, you could have figured it out then too. Right? But if you're just a highlight guy, his highlights, you're walking around with a sock in your hand. I mean, as a general manager,
total side note too, but I can't believe Edwards-Helaire fell off the cliff. I thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire from that team, the running back, was going to be good. And he just stuck. Yeah.
I think he's softy too. I think he's a little Mr. Softy. If you see the way
I don't think he played at all this year. Maybe a little bit. I don't think he played much at all in KC.
It's hard.
He was used a lot too that year. He was beat up.
I think about it every time these guys take hits too, Greg. I think about
yeah.
I don't know how that feels good. Like certain guys, I don't know how you would ever sign up to be a running back. You know what I mean? Like that ain't glitz and glamour. You get smoked by guys 320, right? Everybody, I don't know.
Everyone's landing on you.
Yeah, like a receiver, okay, you can sort of, you know what I mean. You might get your bell rung once in a while, but I like, quarterback's glitz and glamour, so of course you sign up for that one, right? But I always think about like playing offensive line, like who's like, yeah, love that. Like I don't know, we talked about that before, but that always.
The real heroes are the Britton Coveys of the world.
Oh,
the return.
Oh, I know this. Andy Weddle, or I think that's how you say it. He was. So you're saying, Chris, that Andy was a part of that draft then in 21? Was it 21?
So.
Which one are we talking about? Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, 20 or 21?
Yeah, it was 2020. 2020 or
right?
21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Interesting.
I mean, imagine.
We drafted Devontae the year after, right?
Yeah,
you
it's fine.
You missed on Rager and you drafted Devontae. So like,
It's
all right,
fine.
cool. We fixed it the next year. It's fine.
Yeah, but you know what we really have though? Because it would it's crazy how it would work, right? If you draft Jefferson there and you get the same pick the next year,
you're not taking Devontae.
Yeah,
that's Surtain, that's Parsons. You start going into that conversation.
Yeah.
That's more where you go that route. So you imagine have Jefferson and Patrick Surtain. Oh my God, 2 gold jackets.
No, again, you're thinking of Howie here. You're taking Parsons. You're not taking Pat Surtain. You're taking Parsons there.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Howie redeemed himself again on that too.
Yeah.
Could you imagine roles reversed? Like Micah Parsons on the Cowboys, just like praising the Eagles all the time. Like imagine roles reversed, like having an Eagle that's just like, oh, the Cowboys are the best thing since sliced bread. We would do him the fuck out of here.
Well, I mean, Mike,
they got their hands tied, Mike. Their hands are so tied down there because, like, that's their best player. Like, we would win 2 games a year. Like, we can't let him go, so they just got to all keep their mouth shut down. Just spin around the big ball. That's all they do down there.
Future Eagle Micah Parsons. He's coming to Phillies games. He's coming to Sixers games.
Yeah,
he'll be here. Like, when's he a free agent? Next year? Yeah, he'll be here.
I think he'll be here with Mike Trout. I don't think it's never happening.
Me either.
Yeah.
It'd be like, hey, Mike, you want to take $2.5 million a year? Like, I mean, we have no money. Like, I'm not letting Jalen Carter walk for Micah Parsons. I'm sorry. And I love Micah, but he's already been banged up a little bit. Don't like that. So,
we're good. Salary cap's going up 20
just
million
imagine
every
the
single year.
fan
We're
base.
fine.
Like roles reverse the fan base. Like we had a guy here that was just praising the Cowboys all the time.
Oh, we would kill him.
I'd rip them to shreds.
Probably death threats, sadly.
Oh, we had that a few years ago. Who was that guy, the cornerback we had that came from Dallas?
Scandrick.
He was here for 6 weeks or some shit. Then he left and just started talking shit on the Eagles. Like, all right, dude, whatever. But that was
remember way back when DeMarco Murray was here? Talk about a guy that never wanted to be here.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up because when we signed Saquon, I was like, wasn't for like a split second. I thought of DeMarco Murray. I'm like, oh, last time we traded for a running back in the division, fucking DeMarco Murray.
Well, it's safe to say I think Barkley's worked out a hell of a lot better than Murray ever did.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, Saquon's slightly better than DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, just a smidge.
A little bit. But I like how it worked out. Like, even though we didn't get those 2 guys per se, the way it worked out was perfection. I mean, Devontae Smith, to me, from draft night, he's a gold jacket guy one day.
Yeah.
He's just a gold jacket guy. He's that great of a route runner. He'll never get to the hall probably now because of who he plays alongside with. And there's only so many footballs to go around. But he's a pimp. Like, if he's somewhere else, like if he was in, let's say if he was in LA with Herbert, that's a party.
Oh my God.
That is a party.
He might put up 1,800 yards a season.
Well,
they keep CTE by week 6.
They keep throwing that.
If he retires with 2 or 3 Super Bowls and gets 1,000 yards every season, then
you're right
I think he can get in. And he's the Heisman Trophy. Like, that shit matters too.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, like he's got. Here's his stats. He's played 4 years. He's played 63 games. He's got over 4,000 yards. So he's averaging over 1,000 yards a year in less than 17 games. So, I mean, I think he's only gonna get better. I honestly think
he had
arguably
arguably one of the best touchdowns of the season against the Jaguars. You guys remember that?
That catch was disgusting.
That catch
by Hurts,
throwing catch.
I mean,
throw from Jalen and then catch for Devontae was disgusting.
Oh yeah.
Also, Yeah, like unrelated, he's the best at like he didn't catch the pass, but like sells it enough that he caught it, and they're still running another play. He's so good at that.
Yeah, I love him. So I was completely fine with that. Anyone else worried Cooper Kupp ends up in a team-friendly deal with Washington? I ain't scared of no ghost. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not scared of Dan Quinn. I'm not scared of Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's a perennial loser. Why do we get worried about guys who, especially a guy like there's two guys. There's Kyle Shanahan, there's Dan Quinn. They're both responsible for the biggest Super Bowl collapse of all time. You can't remove that stench unless you win one, and neither one has. Yep. So Dan Quinn, tremendous year with your hat on backwards and cool, and I like my hat on backwards too, right? But I just got to take a shot at him. I'm never worried about the Washington Commanders.
And let's remember too, this is the NFL, right? Defense has changed
on a defensive coordinator. Sorry, we got defense has changed on a goddamn defensive coordinator. Think about that. We bent over a defensive coordinator with no Lube, Greg, in an NFC title game, and we're here going. They get Cooper Kupp, Cameron Kupp. You get the whole. I don't even know what it is. All his brothers. You can bring everybody into town, right? I ain't scared because one, our secondary is delicious. So I'm not scared. Like, go get everybody you want. Debo's a glorified running back. He stinks at that too. He's a loser. All right.
Oh, I'm not scared of him at all.
Cooper Terry is the only guy who scares me. Never stays healthy.
Yeah, I'm okay. Like, go get everybody you want. Washington. Go get all these little guys. Go get all these little guys.
We also did CJ Stroud last year too. They did this with CJ Stroud last year too. Watch what Houston does and whatever. And I think people want to say, well, he didn't make the NFC title game. My argument to that is, and I'll sound like a hater, I guess I am, but like the argument to that is the NFC sucked. He beat Tampa Bay and a Detroit team that just felt like was falling apart as the season went on.
They had like
and then
30
they got
guys
spanked by us.
Yeah,
I think if they ran into LA, I don't think that they would have gone on the road to beat LA. And then that's the end of their run and his magical season and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because they beat the Lions, which helped us a lot. But the regular season also they played nobody. They beat the Giants twice. They beat the Cowboys twice. They played the Cardinals. They won that. They played the Panthers. They won that. They beat the Bears on a Hail Mary. Like the flukiest Hail Mary ever. Like that team was just like such a fluke. Like I like Jaden Daniels, don't get me wrong, but nothing was special about that team.
Yeah. They took a leap forward, but they're not a title contender.
No, I think
now your strength of schedule is harder. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Not that it matters, but your strength of schedule.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, you're playing a second ranked schedule versus a fourth ranked schedule. I think that them making it to the NFC title game speeds up their timeline because they didn't think they were going to do that this year. So they're like, all right, we have this guy on a rookie deal. We have to go and get these other skill position guys or fill these other holes we might have. And then they can get themselves cap straps so that when they actually do have to pay Jaden Daniels, I know it's 4 years down the line or whatever that's going to be. Like, like we said, the Washington has not done anything in the last, 40, 50 years. Like they have like 1 or 2 years that they're good. And then they fall back off a cliff again. Now, again, Jaden Daniels is really good. I love that guy. He's going to be a problem for years to come. But I think it's going to be an issue in a few years or like in, say, 2 years if they go nuts in free agency this year. And then it's just like they regress next year because they're playing a tougher schedule. So.
Yeah, it's one thing if you go to free agency and you're going and getting guys that you can sort of like build around with your quarterback. Right? Like Debo isn't a bad move. Like it's not a terrible move. No, but you're taking on that money.
It's $21 million.
And he's not the same player.
Yeah.
He's not the same player he was.
Nope.
They're hoping they get Debo from a couple years ago who can take the pressure off of McLaurin, which makes sense.
Yeah, they're hoping for a pissed off or a refreshed Debo, right? Like a new spot. I'm out of San Fran. I don't have to deal with that anymore.
History
they're just praying for anybody besides Olamide Zaccheaus.
Yeah, history shows, guys, that free agency hasn't been great for Washington. I mean, you go all the way back to the early 2000s when they brought in fucking Dion and Bruce Smith. What did they win? Nothing. Right? They didn't win a damn thing. We kicked their ass then. So we'll just keep kicking their ass year after year after year.
You're an
And Luke hit it right on the head. Like, this guy's going to be – Jaden Daniels going to have a C.J. Stroud year, no doubt. Like, they have an easy schedule, but he'll regress. So he's going to have a C.J. Stroud year.
I didn't even say that as a prediction. More so just be like, yo, like, we slow down. Like, people are like, he's top 5 undebatably, and they're the favorite in the division. Like, can we slow down? Like,
sophomore slumps are real.
It's not even sophomore slump. It's like then you look at C.J. Stroud now, and it's like, oh, my God, like, the Texans are so many guys away. And just like that.
I also think it's ebb and flow year to year. I think you can, as a young guy, you can absolutely sniff yourself a little bit too much when you have instant success in this league.
Right.
Some guys can think it's easy. They take their foot off the gas in maybe a certain area, and they'll refine that. The real ones will find it that junior year. That's why I say, like, that's why it's called a sophomore slump. If you have success year one, it doesn't happen if you come in as a rookie and you're Drake May, right? Like, and you weren't bad, right? But you got beat up a lot. You didn't win a lot. You know what I mean? There wasn't the glory of winning mixed in there. So for him, it's like, no, he's not going to have a sophomore slump. But for CJ Stroud, maybe Daniels, I think Daniels is mature. I thought CJ Stroud was mature for their age. But there's also the glitz and glamour with going on an NFC title game. How do you handle that loss? Does he handle that loss in a way where he's going to grind it and he's going to get after it more, or is he more, hey, this is easy? And that's the question. We're going to find out. Easy schedule or not, right, Chris? Like, easy schedule or not, if he takes his foot off the gas, next thing you know, he wins 10 games, right? Because he is super talented, and the talent will make up for things. But they're good. They're a good football team. I ain't nobody going to take anything away from that. But if anybody out there literally thinks that Deebo Samuel puts them in the same conversation as the defending Super Bowl champions, you're out of your damn mind, and you just don't want the Eagles to be good. That's all it is. Because I take this hat off all day, right? You understand? Like, I ain't walking around like, right? Like, this is the best team in football.
Still,
this was the best team in football, and this wasn't like a Super Bowl where you're like, well, if this would have happened, it was a domination, and that didn't start in the Super Bowl. Let's say that started in the second half against Washington. Okay, that domination started in the second half against Washington and carried over. So in an NFC title game and a Super Bowl, you whooped, because it's hard when you whoop in a title game like that. You start getting nervous as a fan, like, well, are they gonna be able to do this again?
Right.
Like, do you get a letdown from that? They're the big bad wolf. That's who they are all from week 5 on. They took on an identity. They had to figure out what their identity was going to be, and they bought into their identity, that we're the most physical team out there. And they bought into it. And then we watched it happen, and now people out there are talking about a team that obviously Saquon's still here, but give him more money. Zack Baun's back. You already signed your all-pro middle linebacker back to a deal, right? You have so many pieces back, and you think some 5'9" mother, you know what, is now gonna make them a contender? Shit, every playoff team's a contender until they're not.
They were Chris Godwin being healthy away from losing in the first round too.
Yeah.
If Chris Godwin plays in that game, they probably don't even win.
And Stan makes a great point too. Washington should have waited, because now DK and Devontae Adams is on the block. So they saw Debo and just jumped at it. So, like, I'd much rather go against Debo than DK or Devontae Adams.
Oh, man, you want a gadget spinner? I can find you gadget spinners all over, because that's all Debo is. He's a gadget spinner. He's a little toy. He's spinning around. Look how cool he is. And then it gets old. The toy gets old because it's easy to scheme for when you're not as talented as you were. When you're not as electric and you're not as physical and you get hurt more, everything gets easier to scheme for. If you think I'm worried, again, you think I'm worried about some 5'9" guy because of something he did in 2023 when our secondary was all of us out there, and you think I'm one bit worried about that with what I just watched last year.
I do.
Unless our rookies had the same sophomore slump that I'm talking about. Unless Q and Coop, right, it's easy. That's why, back to the conversation, that's why bringing Zack Baun back is important. And that's why, as much as I'm the guy, nobody in the country was harder on this guy than I was, and that's Darius Slay. And I will call him Big Play Slay now. You understand? I said, You had to earn that with me. You had to earn it. And he earned every bit of it. And then you hear about the leadership and you hear about some of the things that I need to hear. Because honestly, on the outside, perception can be reality. I see tweets. I see not me. I see woe is me. I see everything's a deflection. That's what I saw, right? And I wasn't wrong on what I saw. But I needed you, right? And I need you back for another year, okay? Because I need you for the kids. I need you for the – I can't believe I'm saying – I need you for the kids. For the kids. Unbelievable.
Oh.
Well, because you lose him, it's almost like losing two starters back there because you potentially move Coop, which now you got to replace the slot again. Right? So it is huge to potentially bring him back.
I don't know. You mentioned sophomore slumps and maybe Q and Coop falling off a little bit. I'll tell you what, I don't think Division Fangio is going to let that happen. I really don't. I think he's going to keep these guys on the defensive side of the ball just as focused, just as hungry, and ready to go after another one. So, I don't. Go ahead.
Now, if you don't think that Quinyon Mitchell, guy out of Toledo, doesn't have a chip on his shoulder, or like Cooper DeJean, like that dude had first round talent, but didn't get drafted in the first round because of his, because he's white. So like, it's just like these guys are. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, agreed. They're going to be just as hungry next year to go after it and get another title.
Chris, he's not cooked.
Can I disagree with Hell's Kitchen for a second? You know what I mean? Can I disagree? For odd man, because I love Chris, and Chris is smart. Chris knows his ball, right? And this is coming from a guy that was I'll smoke him. I'll freaking smoke him up for you. Darius Slay, that is big play. I'm sorry, big play Slay, right? But come on, man, he was elite. Besides getting hurt every first quarter, right? During the first drive of the game, because he tried tackle, and he did try tackle, and he attempted to tackle. He's like, the whole team, 10 guys can't be physical, and I'm the kitty cat, right? So the mentality on the team, because guys watch film, right? You can't be one guy sitting out there. You don't want to get your beat what everybody else does. Better be careful. You'll find yourself on the bench. So he tried to, and he'd get hurt every time he did it. That being said, cover-wise, come on. He was elite this year, and I think he's got one more in him. Now, Chris, am I hoping he's got two? Absolutely not. This ain't the NBA, right? We're not hoping guys at 36, still have it at the cornerback position.
He's not cooked. I mean, he was still elite this year.
Yeah. I
mean, we're not the team without him. We're not the same team without him.
Well, let's also say we're not signing him to some mega deal. That's another thing. It's not like we're signing him to this mega deal. You're signing him to a team-friendly 1-year small little deal. So even if he is cooked, who gives a shit?
Yeah, he's not into a 2-year deal, and it's like all up front, knowing you're not going to give him the second year, and he knows it.
Right.
This is simple math here. This ain't hard for Howard.
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is fine. Yep. This is fine. Like, why would he want to move?
Big Dom back on the phone.
He's got kids. Darius got kids. I'm not going here to talk about a man's kids. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm saying. But the guy's got kids. Like, you think he wants to uproot his kids and have to move somewhere else for a guy that you want to go to Detroit? Nobody said that ever. You know what I mean? He might have said it, but nobody in the history said, I want to go to Detroit. Now, they're a good football team, right? I get it. But, like, nobody ever wants to live in Detroit. And, like, no way that – I'll speak for his wife. There ain't no way. You tell me, Jan. I mean, we might have to have you on. You really want to live in Detroit? I mean, you guys got to hibernate the whole time. It's a hibernation. And it's cold here, too, but it ain't Detroit.
No.
It definitely ain't Detroit. Ain't nobody want to live in that.
I think he has a house in Detroit still.
God damn it.
That trade, though, is another Howie magic, right? A third and a fifth for
totally
a
slept
guy
on.
that turned around our franchise at the position.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, when we got him, we were a disaster in the secondary.
I don't disagree with this one. I'm not saying he was bad this year. I'm saying he's done next year. Okay. Well, that's a lot of, you're really hoping on that then. You're just assuming because he's 30, he's older. I get it. He said, I'll sign Rodgers and draft somebody. I have no problem with that being the option either.
Yeah.
I have no problem if Isaiah Rodgers is your outside guy and Ringo's backing him up. I think it's a stretch to start Ringo because now you're not deep there, right? I love this year. The biggest thing was being deep. We were deep there. Now we don't got to be as big as last year. So if you're losing Slay, right? I don't, Avante's gone, right? I assume or no?
I would assume.
I don't. He's a free agent. I don't think we re-sign him. He's been pretty brutal the last couple of years.
He's gone.
Oh, that he's been hurt a large majority of the last few seasons.
Would I bring him back on like a 1 year, like
Carlos? Welcome, brother.
$1 million, a couple, mil and a half. Sure. You know what I mean? What up, Carlos? I mean, I don't like.
He did make a huge play in the Super Bowl.
I think he's been here for 10
that
years.
Was a big play. That was a big play.
I was shocked he was in the game. I'm like, what the hell is Avante in the game?
Yeah.
No wonder they're going after him.
Yeah. That might have been the only play that was in the game, or maybe maybe.
I appreciate his contributions. I mean, he was a good role player, but it's time to move on from Avante.
He was a great starter for a few years too.
He was great in the slot a couple of years ago. He was really good.
Yeah, listen, he'll get
He's
burned
poor
all day.
man's Crevan LeBlanc.
Yeah, but what my point is, would I bring him back? Would I bring him back to be a backup? Yes. And I'm not an Avante guy. I'm just saying.
Sure. I mean, at that point, like whatever.
For a depth piece, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I've been seeing guys on the offensive side of the ball, like a Raheem Mostert I saw today with some ties with us. If Kenny were to go as a replacement, I like Kenny a lot. We were talking about that last time.
Yeah.
Kenny's just that reliable guy, which from your running back 2 spot from a team who runs the ball a lot, that's a big deal.
He runs hard.
I like Kenny a lot.
Kenny's really aged on me.
I like Will Shipley a ton too, but not yet. He needs a few. No, we're definitely not there yet.
Yeah,
with him.
Agreed.
And I don't know if he. I mean, Saquon never needs to lead the field essentially because he'll block everybody. But I think Kenny is such a good third down back too.
Yeah.
And even a first down back where he can take drives and be successful.
Well,
and I think you can find that elsewhere too. It doesn't necessarily have to be Kenny, but again, like I'm not trying to overpay guys to keep them. Makes sense, but it's another situation where I'd rather bring back a guy I just won with here than have to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Unless I have to overpay him, and then obviously not overpaying Kenny. If he's going to go somewhere else and be a starter because he won a Super Bowl, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Best of yours. Yeah, go get yours, of course.
They'll draft the back in the 4th or 5th round like they do.
This draft class is full of running backs and defensive line. That's where the depth is, which fits us perfectly.
That's Howie Roseman's wet dream.
Sam, absolutely not. He said, would you move Coop to the outside? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. He's an all-pro, essentially, slot guy. I mean, he's literally a shutdown slot guy, which is the hardest position out of the D-backs to find. All right? And he runs like a D-back and tackles like a linebacker. That's a slot guy. Yeah. I want that guy in my slot because the second he entered the slot, the second our defense became elite.
Yeah.
So,
I don't want him in special teams either. I'm done with him in special teams.
Okay.
I don't think that'll happen in the regular season. I don't see that happen.
We're like the bucket special teams. You know what I mean?
I'm saying why
special teams.
You can't find anybody else besides your pro shutdown slot quarter. Like one hit to the head.
Everybody else was hurt. Britton Covey got his head chopped off. And Aeneas Smith was hurt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Covey got his head chopped off. So let's give him the gene. Let's feed him the gene.
Rome, I've been saying that. Jahan Dotson should have always been returning the punts. Always. Did it. Penn State was amazing at it. And I don't know. You shouldn't have to waste a roster spot on Covey. You can't play the position that he's listed as. It's a waste of money. What are we doing?
We're just back to you catch the ball.
Luke.
They're like, what are we doing? The guy can't even play. He's listed as a receiver, and he can't play the position.
We're just unbelievable.
Is Dotson still under contract?
We just won a goddamn Super
Is
Bowl.
Dotson still under contract?
Yeah, one more year.
All right,
we just won a goddamn Super Bowl, and we're over here. We just love finding something, right? We're over here. We're bitching about who's returning the ball.
Oh, we're not bitching. We're just fine tuning, Tommy. We're fine tuning. That's all.
Just cleaning it up. Yeah, we're just changing the oil.
Hey,
if we're not improving, we're not going to stay on top, Tommy.
That's right. You're not wrong.
Changing the spark plugs.
I mean, eventually Jerry and Dallas will get the fuck out of the way and figure it out. I mean, we don't want that to happen.
That'll be when he's 6 feet deep.
I just feel like Cooper DeJean is so valuable. It's like you usually see like stiffs return punts and kickoffs. Not stiffs, but like it's not exactly your best corner. Yeah.
Gadget guys.
No, like you could pick your spots with Coop, like how the Eagles used to with Deshaun Jackson. Like, when it's an important time in the game, like, yeah, maybe you stick him back there, but should he be catching a punt in the first quarter after a 3 and out? I don't know.
Probably against the Jaguars in week 6, like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'm not in, right? We need to win the game.
What's the big deal?
Oh, to win a game?
It's 23 years old.
What do we do? He's 35. We're putting him in bubble wrap now. Now we're bubble
wrap. I'm with him on this one. I don't need that every like.
I don't really give a shit.
I kind of care.
You will when he breaks his leg on the
It's not that important.
Okay, all right.
It's not that important.
Just say it from the start. Then you guys are petting your kitty cats. You're scared right now. You know what I mean? Like just say it from the beginning.
No, this is a fact.
We just talked about our all-pro slot corner.
Tommy, you are all about facts. We have not returned something since 2016. We went down this rabbit hole a couple weeks ago. So why? So it's not worth it.
That's why I'm Tommy Covey. I'm Tommy Britton. You know what I mean? I got the Britton flag. Like I'm Tommy Britton over here. Because he just catches the ball. I don't give a shit about it. Just give me a guy who catches the ball that's not important. That's all. Let that guy get his head knocked off every year.
That's not important.
I'm good with it.
Thank you.
Fine. Yeah, that's what we're
Jahan is perfect.
No. I'm king.
He actually is. He might actually be able to break
know this more than anybody. I'm king. I don't give a shit back there. Just get somebody back there and catch the football at all times. Just don't put the ball on the turf and I'll love you. I don't care if you average 5 yards a punt. I don't give a shit. Right now, Covey's actually decent because he won't return anything, but he'll get you. Yeah, it'll look good at the stat sheet at the end of the year.
Yeah, just ask the Green Bay Packers how important the return game is. I mean, fuck, their returner fumbled the ball and we walked away with the win. The wild card round. So, yeah.
Jahan Dotson, first touchdown scorer of the playoffs, was not on my bingo card.
Oh, Little J. Little J, I'm sorry.
Score all year.
Oh, sorry, Little J.
We're sending our thoughts and prayers to your uncle, Little J.
Buckets. Sure. I had it up on the screen at the casino. I had Dotson first touchdown and Eagles defense because I couldn't pick individual. I had defense and I didn't have the balls to pull it off.
Wow.
I took Dotson for a touchdown.
I would have played them separately. I wasn't parlaying. I'm definitely not that lucky.
I took Dotson for a touchdown like 14 weeks in a row, and he just didn't score. So I was like, all right. And then the last week against the Giants, I was like, I'll double down. And he had like 100 yards, no touchdown. And then first week of the playoffs, it's like, Dotson. Like, oh my God.
So we're 58 minutes into this show, and we have not brought up the importance of the return of Zack Baun here, but we sure as hell mentioned about our punt returners and our special teams, and we really clean that up tonight, which is important. You know what I mean? We really dive in here.
Just get someone back there that can catch the fucking ball.
We had to wait for Luke. We only got here a couple minutes ago. We had to wait for Luke.
You get all this money now. Put it back there to catch punts.
Yeah.
Big Tom needs to lift weights.
How do you guys feel about it? Do you feel too much money? Do you feel like the right money? Do you feel like you maybe wanted to see another prove it year? In a way, how do you guys feel on? Because there could be a lot of different thoughts on it, or it could all be a circle jerk. It could be that everybody loves it. Nobody loves that, but everybody.
I'm resigned to the fact that the back end of a contract, you may be overpaying a little, but you know what? This guy deserves it. He had a hell of a year, and I'm willing to roll the dice here for this guy, especially with Vic Fangio as our defensive coordinator. He is not going to let Zack Baun, smell himself, if you know what I mean. So I
know what
think.
you mean.
I think the most important thing of this signing is signing him before free agency really starts. Getting this out of the way so you don't have to worry about it. Like you got him under contract. Cool. You don't let him hit the open market because maybe he ends up getting more on the open market, right? Maybe instead of paying him $17 million a year, you're paying him 20, right? So not letting him out the door is probably the most important thing. Now, obviously, he's only done this for 1 year, and the rest of the defense probably helped him along there. But I think he absolutely deserved the contract he got. And he probably would have gotten more if he hit the open market. So I'm happy he signed. I think we were all in agreement that he was important and was probably one of the if not the most important guy to re-sign. But yeah, I'm excited he's back, especially with the Nakobe Dean injury. So
I've heard Tommy say it for 12 years now. You win up the middle. So we need him back. We got him back. Let's go.
Yeah, I like it too. You might have overpaid, but who cares, right? Because in the world of the NFL, you could always restructure, right? You could always restructure. You could always turn stuff into bonuses. But Ryan hit on something too. Outside of Zach, and right now, our only healthy linebacker is Jeremiah Trotter right now, right? So if you didn't sign Zach, we were just going to resign again to the Eagles don't value the linebacker position, right? So you had to re-sign him because of Nakobe's injury. But I don't think he's a flash in the pan, right? I mean, he's a third-round pick out of Wisconsin. It's not like linebackers out of Wisconsin can't play. Right, we had one here before, an undrafted guy in T.J. Edwards that a lot of fans, my son, right? That was my son, but a lot of fans liked. But he knew how to play football, right? Zack Baun knows how to play football. So yeah, it might seem like a flash in the pan, 1 year wonder, right? But he's from a pedigree school that produces defenders, and he's got, as Noah said, he's got a defensive coordinator that plays to his strengths. So to me, I'm not worried about it. It's the price of doing business, right? You didn't lock him up mid-year, right? You didn't lock him up mid-year, so this is the price of doing business now,
Big number, though. I was
huge
away
number.
by the number. I'll be honest.
Blown away too.
That being said, I think it's way more. I'd rather pay the price than experience any world without him being here because that's scary. You alluded to it. That's scary. Right. And I think a lot of people were worried about it just because of Howie's reputation and what he likes and what he doesn't like. Here's the thing. Last few days, he just paid the crap out of a linebacker and a running back in back-to-back days, something we never thought we'd see. But here's the thing with Howie. He'll always love the trenches and believe that you win in the trenches. He's probably right about that, as we've seen over the years. But he keeps Pro Bowlers. T.J. Edwards, a lot of people were pissed when he left. T.J. Edwards was not a Pro Bowler.
No, he
wasn't. This is different. That's why when people were bringing that up and saying, like, oh, he's going to let Baun walk, like, he's not going to let Baun walk. He's a Pro Bowler. Howie does not let Pro Bowl, like, all-pro level talent leave his team. He doesn't do it. Not easily. Yeah, and that's why I think this whole thing with Myles Garrett, I think is the biggest smoke screen of all time. I don't think it's real. I think it's bullshit.
Don't you poo on my
I'm just saying. And I think he's right for doing it. I think he's trying to do this and say, look, I'm going to create all this cap room for myself because we didn't just have the best team in that. We had the best team in football this year by a wide margin. So if I give myself like the best opportunity to bring as many of these guys back as I can, also restock on the assets that I've been doing just a tremendous job in the last few years, why would it change? So I don't think he's going to go out and make a big swing at all. In free agency, Myles Garrett, I think it's total BS. People are like, oh, they're only saying it because they're making cap room. Every team makes cap room. Every Cowboys are doing it. And they're not going to sign anybody.
Make cap room and just sign two of our guys, right? So
right, that's what they're building cap room to bring as much people back because they believe that they were the best team in the league by a wide margin.
Yeah, why would you?
Probably right. They're probably right.
They were, and Vic's obviously a part of that conversation. and what he thinks Zach is, right? Like if he thinks Zach's a flash in the pan or if he's the real thing, real deal, right? And obviously, I think he's the real deal too. But it is the price of doing business, so I'm fine with it. And like Noah said, that's how you win. It's how you always win in every sport too. Well, I mean, in football and baseball, you win up the middle, right? So you got to have a strong catcher, you got to have good pitching, got to be good up the middle, right? And you got to have a good center fielder. So stuff ain't hard, I mean, it's hard because nobody does it at a high level. But if you look at our middle, I mean, a big part of that starts with Jordan Davis, so he doesn't get probably enough credit. I know there's reports out there that claim the Eagles aren't as high on him. He lost snaps. He didn't. But so you get those reports out there about him. But he clogs up a lot. And Jalen Carter's obviously the best D tackle in football. So those help your linebackers, of course, but they all help each other.
Yeah.
They can all make up for each other's flaws at different times. So when you talk about that and you go to your back end, Reed's a great cover guy. CJ will hit everybody, and he can cover. So you're built back there. When you come back this year, you have those guys. So that's important. It's important to try to go repeat, and it was a big important reason on why they were successful. And then the other important part goes back to the poll question, right? Because you went up front. Howie knows he wins up front. You pay Saquon a lot of money. I don't know if you just go let 370-pound guys walk out the building. I just don't. I don't know if you do that. He's just a specimen of a human being, regardless if Tyler Steen almost beat him out in camp or not. He didn't beat him out in camp. So he didn't. Like, what if? Cool. But he didn't beat him out. And one guy just went and pancaked the world. We watched it numerous times. He's a monster of a human being. I don't know if I want to go give him money. Please, he's 25 fucking years old. We're acting like the guy's 30. Go pay the guy. You figure something out with a guy. You might have an all-pro guard on your hands.
You do have an all-pro guard. He's an 11th pick in the draft, and they finally found his niche in the NFL. I mean, this guy's supposed to be a dog in the NFL. He's the top. I think he's the 11th pick. I think he was supposed to be found where he's supposed to be at. This is it.
This is the simple things to pay. Your wide receivers are paid right now for a minute. Okay, go pay all your linemen. You paid your running back. Now you got to protect his ass, and you paid your quarterback. Got to protect his ass. Go pay all those guys. Dickerson's paid. Moada's contract got done like a year or two ago.
Yep.
Lane Jurgens is up now. Jurgens should get it this offseason, a bag.
But there's no reason you can't bring Mekhi Becton here for 4 years, $7 million a year, right? Hypothetically, and he goes for a new contract at 29 years old. You're giving him another opportunity to get paid.
The Zack Baun, completely different player, but I want to see if Luke is on the same page. Did the numbers of the contract bring up deja vu or like bad voodoo?
The numbers.
It's identical to Bryce Huff's contract.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah. No, I saw
years,
their cap hits are
51 million.
exactly the same. Yeah.
It's exactly the same. 17 a year, 34 guaranteed. I was like, oh my God, that's the only part of it I don't like. Everything else, I love it. But the superstition
been active for the Super Bowl?
He wasn't active, yeah.
So Brandon Graham could rip his arm off again.
Yeah.
You hear that? Did you guys hear that? That he tore it again.
Did he? Christ.
But no, to move they had to make. They had to bring him back. He was an important piece of the best defense in football. You can't go, like Luke said, you can't go letting all pros. You don't go letting all pros walk out your building.
He does.
That's what bad organizations do. We are not one of those. And listen, Howie's had his share of mistakes. You hope because you see him learn over time that you really see him now. I feel like he just fully gets it. And unlike the other year when we went to Super Bowl, this is different in a lot of ways. And he's just not gonna. Yeah, he's just not gonna go pay guys that because they mean something to him, right? He's gonna go right now pay the best guys that he needs to pay that are most important to his football team. So that next move is gonna be interesting. If there
he's trying to have sex again, right?
Yeah,
his next what he said. Yeah. Said his first time win the Super Bowl was like your first time having sex. You didn't really care what it was. It was just you were happy to do it. And now the second time it was like, all right, now I want to keep doing this more and more again.
Yeah, man, that's fair.
I was like, he said it. I'm like, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know any man that's going to be like, nah, I don't get it.
Hell of an analogy.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't get it, I mean, check your beanbag. Live on air if you don't understand that one. So get your pebbles. Conball, he's next for sure. Do you guys think any of these are potential free agents are back? Like outside of Mekhi Becton, because we talked about him already.
I think the most logical back is Isaiah. Or like I said,
we knew that
Darius.
one. But anybody else like Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, anybody else? You think?
I just think they're going to get too much.
Yeah, I think Milton Williams is going to get paid. I don't know. Like that guy from Dallas got paid yesterday, Osa something. Like he got $20 million a year. If he got $20 million a year, what's Milton Williams getting? Is he getting that same number? Is he getting more?
He's also getting projection value too because he's 25.
Yeah.
So people are going to pay him even more than he's productive right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to find out what Howie thinks about him.
Well, I think
Gainwell's definitely back.
I don't think there's any remote chance of either of them coming back. I just don't think it's
No, I don't think Sweat's good enough to deserve that money. One, but I think there's like that outside chance Milton potentially could be back because of what we talked about a few weeks ago, how, even, Tom Donahue didn't like shake his hand after the pick and everybody was all seeming pissed off about that pick. I don't know. And we'll see like how he feels about him or Jordan Davis, right? Guys, like, like if he doesn't sign
pay
him back,
Jordan Davis, he's a first round pick. He's gonna pay him.
Well, no. My point is like if it's not Milton Williams, then how they feel about Jordan Davis.
Right.
Or
at least keeping the Georgia group together.
Yeah, which is fine to me. Like one of those two need to be back. So I think in his eyes, he can pay Jordan less and get him back than he can with Milton Williams,
and where does N'Kobe fall in there? Because I'm not trying to dish out a ton of money to him if I'm being.
Well, he's lost that opportunity.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt all the time. He's hurt, so I don't know.
It's good,
especially after just paying Baun.
Yeah.
So
they project. He was playing well.
He really was. They project Williams to get about 17, 18 million a year.
That can't happen. That ain't happening.
That's what
we're not doing.
Track is
he's going to save even more money because he's going to trade out of the first round and he's going to pick up second round picks, third round picks, and this class is just absolutely stacked with defensive linemen. And he's going to pick a ton of them in the second, third, fourth round and save money that way.
I would bring Oren Burks back.
I'd be shocked if he picks at 32 personally.
Yeah, and I believe Oren Burks is back too.
Yeah, he did a nice job, especially in the postseason.
And they to project Mekhi Becton to sign a 36-40 million over 4 years.
Yeah, that's doable. I hear that can work. I don't know why we wouldn't make that work. I think that's outlandish. Because Tower Steve.
Well, I think what you do with him is you upload him until he's 27. You let him go away when he's 27 if he wants.
Yeah, or you give him till he's 29, and he's got more meat on the bone there for another big deal if he has 4 great years.
Right, but he would put in 2 good years and be like, I'm still 27, and then by then the salary cap will go up.
Well, that's fine too. That's how you make it work with him, right? To your point,
Right.
But I don't know how you let a specimen like that, just like I wouldn't let Jordan Davis out of the building. Like the only thing Chip Kelly ever said that was right is big guys beat up on small guys. So I don't know how I'm going to go let 2 monstrous human beings that have shown their ability to impact games, right? So I don't know how I let 2 gigantic human beings ever walk out my door.
I don't think he will.
Jordan Reyes, to answer your question, I believe Reed Blankenship is a free agent after next season.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's another guy that's going to require money too.
Yeah. Well, what's the old adage? You can't pay everybody.
Yep.
He's paying enough of them.
Well, that's what everyone else says. And then Howie says,
right.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Hold my paycheck, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hold my card.
Here's $19 million a year. I'm going to give you $18 million signing bonus. Let's go. $1 million cap hit.
It's a game of inches played with yards as we sign Miles. It's happening.
I agree with Luke. I don't know if there's any chance it's happening.
I don't think and Adam Schefter is going on every podcast imaginable saying, I just don't see how it's even possible. I think it's horrible. And it makes complete sense. it makes complete sense that Howie would want to help him out too, because he's a former. They've worked together before. The whole thing just makes sense. He's saving money to bring people back, not make another move and pay another guy $100 million. It just doesn't make sense.
But that's what Howie does, right? That's what Howie does.
I'm not trying to shit on Myles Garrett. He's one of the best players in the entire league.
I just don't want to see him go to Washington. Let's be real, right? Like, I just don't want to see him go to Washington.
I wouldn't want that either, but I don't think I need to step in and lose assets and money and players and everything that it takes to bring him here.
I hear you.
What would you rather have?
Howie Jr. has spoken.
Because you signed that contract, you maybe can't sign Jalen Carter.
No, you could probably sign Jalen Carter, but you definitely aren't signing Jay Alexander. You're definitely not signing Nolan Smith. You're not you could, but then who's on your back end? Nobody. And then it's back to what it was.
There's a lot of factors.
Well, you don't have to pay Q. You don't have to pay.
And then you can't
a minute,
draft anybody. You can't draft anybody. That's the other thing. Like, as good as Saquon and the offensive line and Jalen, the offense and the defense has been, the best asset this entire team has is Howie Roseman drafting people.
Right, but the salary cap's going up every year.
Right, but you can Howie Roseman we're losing drafts guys, Pro Bowlers every freaking year.
Sure.
Every year.
But he also likes making splashes in free agency.
Okay, but like what I'm saying
is
he
likes to be the center of attention.
A first-round pick for us is way different than a first-round pick to Washington or to Buffalo.
Yeah, but we just both agreed that he's not taking 32.
No, but then that second-round pick, I want that too, because guess what? That's Cam Jurgens, who is going to be here his entire career, and that's Landon Dickerson. The guy doesn't miss. The best asset this team has.
We don't have any holes right now.
I get it, but you will if you pay a guy like him. Then holes start to creep in.
Oh, and
does he reach against
like that?
Is he good enough to cover up all those holes? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't want to know the answer to that question. The quickest way this goes south is by missing and just getting rid of draft picks. And that's our best asset, is that he just restocks every year.
I take it. I do it.
I wouldn't do it. Because then here comes a 23-year-old with a $3 million cap hit who's playing up to a Pro Bowl level every year. Every year. It's somebody.
I just think it would be really, really funny on draft night. Myles Garrett gets announced as a trade to the Eagles, and everybody just freaks out. I just want the reaction. That's all I want. That'd be so funny.
Where are we going backwards, Pumper? Thanks for the super chat, brother. But Myles is 30, but I mean, it's the best defender in football, dude.
The Eagles are what, like the second or they're a bottom 5, age-wise team in the league.
The oldest guy on the roster is 32.
Brian was referring to Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But still, 30-year-old Myles, he'd be the 5th oldest guy on our team.
Okay, that's fine. And again, he's not going to be out there. If he's here, because based off what the Eagles do, they rotate their guys in and out. Yeah, maybe he's in that solid cap hit. But he's not out there every single down like he is in Cleveland. Not, I just think
then he wouldn't be worth $100 million.
For that cap hit, he better fucking be out there.
All right, maybe he's out there for 80% of the snaps instead of 100.
I'm just saying, in no world to me is anything that we give up worth what he'd be doing. And I'm saying that knowing and acknowledging the fact that he's one of the best players in the entire NFL. I get that. But the price it takes to get him on our team is just not worth it. It's so not.
I think Greg and I understand that, but I just like pissing off other fan bases. Like Cowboys, Lions, a bunch of people will chime in, well, we're getting Myles Garrett, so that sucks. It's more of an arrogance than it is factual.
Yeah. It'd be great if we could make it work, but it's not worth it's not worth.
See, that's where you lose me.
Screwing yourself, and
it's not worth it. I mean, come on, it's the best defender in football. And get him on your team is always worth it for the short term.
Not always,
right? Maybe not the long term.
At what price, though?
Maybe not the long term.
He's already getting paid $25 million
to us right now. What's 2 firsts?
2 firsts is a big deal because those are 2 Pro Bowlers. Yeah, those are 2 22-year-old Pro Bowlers. Well, those are 2. Even if it's a second, those are 2 22-year-old Pro Bowlers with a $4 million cap hit.
So we're not giving up for second.
I know, but when Buffalo trades a first-round pick, it's like, okay, I don't know who the hell they would have picked. But when we trade our first-round pick, I'm like, that guy is a 22-year-old Pro Bowler.
We give Baltimore Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
We are trading you. He will be 22 to 23 years old with a $4 million cap hit, and he will be in the Pro Bowl in the next 3 years. I will bank on it because that's what he does. And I can't trade multiple opportunities at that for a guy making a boatload of money. Like I can't do it. I can't.
You're speaking absolutely logical facts, right? But we also have a wizard as a GM, right, that can manipulate a cap better than we've ever seen, right? So I don't know that we're going to ever be in a scenario to where it's gonna hinder. Yes, we might not, maybe we might have an ever revolving door at right guard because that's still one position, or left guard wherever Becton leaves, right? But all right, so that's fine. But like our offense is set right now. This is the time you go do it. You go do this now because you can, right? You're going to save money by just bringing him and then restructuring his deal. And then you're
right, but it's the price it takes to trade. It's not like you're signing you to trade for him.
It's 2 firsts.
But when Washington gives their 2 firsts, which are better than our 2 firsts, what would make our offer better than theirs is having to give up a player. So if that player is Jordan Davis or if that player is Nolan Smith, I'm out. We're not having.
I would do Jordan Davis. I wouldn't touch. I agree with you, Nolan Smith, but
I don't
want to, but I would do Jordan.
See, but that's the only way you get him because that's the only way your offer is better than theirs.
Because I don't know that Washington gives up 2 firsts. I don't think they can. We can.
I think they would just at the fact that they would not want him to come here.
Washington's got too many holes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Washington can afford. That's why I think.
But if they tell them he's going to go to Philly, but if he tells them, "Yo, we're going to trade him to Philly if you don't fend off these 2 firsts," I have a funny feeling they're going to be like, "All right, we'll do it."
Yeah, it could.
They would do anything.
Then it screws them more, right? So then, we have to deal with a menace Myles Garrett for a couple of years, but in the end, it's going to ruin Washington.
Right. I just don't see it realistically happen. We would have to give up a player in order to give them the best offer.
Yeah, we got Bryce Huff.
Yeah, Bryce Huff. Yeah, for sure. Get rid of him.
And
dude, when I saw that deal, that
come out and be like, "Why would Cleveland take Bryce Huff?" I get it. I know. I'm not a freaking moron.
I think we all contributed to the Eagles Super Bowl more than Bryce Huff did. Shit.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Those numbers were scary. The Zack Baun numbers. I saw it. I was like, I've seen this before.
Pumper, you give me the 4 pick, I'll trade AJ.
Just for the 4th pick, you would?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Not this year's draft. Absolutely not.
Get me closer to Abdul. Get me closer to Abdul. Then I can trade 4 and 32 to Tennessee for 1.
I wouldn't trade it as much as how much I love Abdul. I wouldn't trade AJ for Abdul. You would trade AJ Brown for Abdul Carter?
You just got a Super Bowl.
No.
Listen, I do not want to get rid of AJ Brown. Let's make that clear, right? Like I am not on the let's trade AJ Brown. But if New England wants to call,
I would legitimately need 3 first-round picks to trade AJ Brown. I would need 3 of them.
I'd also need a wideout because I can't trust Dallas Goedert, and Smith is not a 1. He's a slot guy, obviously. Like you would need for the short term, like you're screwed with the passing game because you can't rely on Goddard. Guy's always hurt, and then Devontae Smith is like a hell of a receiver, but he's the number 2. He'll never be a 1.
I completely disagree about this offense being screwed if AJ's not here. We just had a running back for 2,000 yards.
Yeah,
he's irreplaceable though. He's irreplaceable.
If we want James to continue to progress as a passer,
if you trade him for 3 first-round picks, even you're never getting AJ Brown back. You're never going to see AJ Brown.
I agree.
This
Tennessee's still wishing they had him
back. There's no possible way AJ Brown's getting traded. It's a moot point. I've heard that around. There's no way. It's not.
There's no truth to any of it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Not going to do that to your quarterback either.
Nor should it.
If you did and you told me I can get like Travis Hunter and I'm replacing him maybe with something like that,
absolutely not. Wouldn't even consider that for 2 seconds. I think Travis Hunter.
Well, hey, we draft Travis Hunter. We got our CB2 and our wide receiver 2. We're good. Fill both holes at the same time.
We got Ohtani. I'm just obviously kidding because that's not what I want to do. I'm not trading AJ Brown for anything. So
me either.
That would be crazy. Hold on. That's a great comment. You get rid of Brown, you get Garrett, and then you sign DK Metcalf.
No,
it's almost the same time.
But no.
Yeah.
I mean, if people thought AJ was a diva, what are they going to think about DK?
I think they're the exact same player.
I think he's more of a diva.
The only difference is one plays with Geno Smith. I think they're the same player.
They're very similar, yeah.
Maybe. I do like Christian Gonzalez. I don't think, again, I wouldn't do that either, but I like Christian Gonzalez.
I don't think New England's doing that.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. Again, another team that has so many holes to fill. You don't need obviously they need wide receiver help for Drake May, but you're not trading the 4th overall pick and your number 1 cornerback that you drafted last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That's not
2 years ago.
No, they're too far away from contending to do that.
Are they though? Oh yeah, well no. They could.
The Patriots, yeah.
I mean, they have a ton of money this year. They're going to be a lot better next year.
They'll be improved. Don't get me wrong.
I think they'll be number 2 in the division next year.
They could definitely make the playoffs next year and probably not go anywhere, but they could sneak in.
Well, they got Braves now. They got an actual coach.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll take strides forward, but I think they only win 7 or 8 games next year.
That's fair.
Which could be second in that division.
Well,
I do think people are going to be mad at the Jordan Davis number when it comes out too. Whenever that happens, whether it be now or over the summer or maybe in the middle of the season, people are not going to be happy about that.
What the number?
That's going to be a big number, and people are going to say the snap count. Here's what people don't understand: You're not paying him for 3rd down. You can't play him on 3rd down. He's on the field to force you to play 3rd downs. That's what he's there for.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not on the field, likely he did his job on 1st and 2nd down. That's what you're paying him for.
Yeah.
So you can't bring up the snap count. That's
when it's 3rd and 8 in a clear pass rush situation. He's not on the field.
Yeah, and it's like, all that money's not on the field. Well, that's why they're facing a 3rd down right now.
And I also said, as big as he is, I hate when people say, he can't get after the quarterback. Well, he can because he can collapse a pocket. He's strong. He's big. Not that he's a pass rusher, right? But he's that big of a human being. Like I always laughed at that. But you're spot on, Luke. You're not paying him to be on the field for 3rd down. You're paying him so you create 3rd down, and that's what he does. He's a monster. He helps your linebackers.
All those guys are paid for.
It would be the dumbest thing in the world not to give him money. And you're going to be able to give him less than Milton Williams, which is the key. That's the key. Right. That's the key because you can't pay everybody $20 million a year. So let Milton go get his bag, and Jordan will probably come in on half of that money. Honestly,
probably more than that.
Maybe
probably
10.
More than half.
Maybe 10. If Milton Williams getting 17, Jordan Davis is probably going to get 10, 11.
I think he'll get like 13 or 14. I think it's going to be a pretty big number. I think it's going to be. He's a first-round pick too.
I don't know. I don't know.
He's a first-round pick.
You guys are all SPO track and whatever the hell it's called.
I would say probably 13 to 15 mil. That would be around my guess, 13 to 15.
See, I don't think you got to do that. Stop it. You didn't give him Goddard that kind of money.
No. I'm just saying Goddard.
This is an interesting conversation to have.
Out of here.
This is an interesting conversation to have about.
They might extend him.
Right? Do you extend them?
Yeah.
Do you trade them?
Please don't extend them. The tight ends come and go.
Right.
They come and go.
I'm probably agree with you if I had to choose a side.
I hear you though when healthy.
And he'll be making less money on an extension. He knows that too in his 30s. He will be making less money. It'll definitely be a pay cut for him to come here and stay.
We got my boy Calcantara.
Who stinks?
He's heard a lot. He's heard a lot, but when
I know, I'm bad.
Listen, he's heard a lot.
Tight ends come and go.
They do.
They just come and go.
He's heard a lot, but when he's on the field, he's pretty dominant. So.
I would give him a 2-year extension. I would give him a 2-year extension.
Locker room guy.
Yeah, save money.
That's like if my aunt had stones, she'd be my uncle.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. He's never on the field.
We see it.
He's on the field.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be making absurd money like he is now. He'd be making a lot less. So I don't think it would be even that. And plus, odds are they're probably going to use some sort of asset in the next year or two on that anyway. So
you're just keeping him as your one.
You wouldn't really. And plus, who knows? He might not even be the one by the end of the contract. You're talking 3 years from now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I can agree with you more. He'd probably be in a body bag. He's better so much, but at the end of the day, he's such a physical specimen. He's a great blocker. He's great after the catch. He's hard to tackle after that matters. And listen, your quarterback has a lot of say in this shit too. So if we don't think that's real life, then we're misguided. Hence why AJ Brown will never get traded.
Sure.
Like that ain't happening without Jalen and AJ signing off on that together. Because the only reason AJ signs off on it is because Jalen's going to find out and have to tell his boy, like, they're thinking about trading you. Wait, what? So then AJ gets involved. So that's when Howie's got to lock all windows and doors because we ain't reading books at that point. That ain't interaction.
Mark Zumoff.
Yeah, Zoo in here.
Zoo is in here. Zoo
Shout out Mark Zumoff, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, Joe's knees got worse after Mark left. Had to bring him back.
Good point.
But my point is, those guys aren't. I mean, they're certain guys are untradeable or irreplaceable, regardless of the talent you get back, right? Like, what I mean? Like Travis Hunter could be a freak in this. Like, I don't know. That's the problem with all these picks. We don't know. Abdul Carter, we think he's awesome. What happens if he's not? What happens if he's not? It's a different league. It's different.
I'm not gonna lie. There's no chance of that. I'll be honest.
There's a chance of everything. There's
no chance of that. Unless he's Greg Oden. Unless that happens, that ain't happening.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to a guy from South Carolina. You want to go back with me?
He's way no. He was known to give you big time hits, and he was electrifying. This guy's a stud. There's a difference between the two guys.
Clowney was drafted that high because he made one hit that went viral.
Yeah, he's big time hits, electricity.
You guys all Penn State it up. You guys want to we are. Everybody's in the shower watching. Don't drop the soap. Listen to me for a second. You guys made me go there. You made me go there, and I'm on your wagon. I was we are for a while until
that's
I
a
felt
low
attacked.
blow.
I felt attacked because all I'm doing is making a point for our guy that you never know. No, you think you might know, and then nobody went to his birthday party, right? You think you might know, but there's one thing you may not. Now, listen, I agree with you guys. I think he's a stud. I think he's a can't miss, right? That all being said, just because I think he's a can't miss, he still can miss. AJ, we watch him. We're watching him. Why do you think in Major League Baseball I'll trade the prospects all day? All day to win right now. See you again. Because I don't know. I think I might know. And then you get with the best of the best, and you're not good enough. Because the best might be just as good as you, and you don't know how to get better. Right? I don't know. But there's a million factors that go into that, right? That we see it all the time. This guy's can't miss. And he missed. Right?
AJ Brown got drafted by the Padres. I feel like people always forget that.
I saw that video last week. That was cool. I think he was like a high school. He was a high school All-American. He was playing out in San Diego or something. So like a 90-mile-an-hour cutter. He said, "Yeah, I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore."
Yeah, he played college baseball. Ole Miss.
Yeah,
I have no idea how he did that.
No,
because I didn't like the swing one bit, to be honest with you. So I don't know how he did. He did it.
The swing did look funky.
Yeah, that's not a clean swing. I mean, I don't know who was talking with him.
He was like the guy in Trouble with the Curve. You know, the guy hangs a curveball. He's out in front, but he just muscles it over the fence.
Yeah, this guy Pedro Serrano out there.
Pedro Serrano.
It's unbelievable.
And now he's got his book on the sideline. His book is Inner Excellence is Joe Boo. That's Joe Boo.
The dugout. He's got candles lit. He's got candles lit. He's got to deal with this 162. He's got to deal with this. It's easy to deal with for 17. He started got to deal with for 162. You're like, put the fucking book away. Yeah,
that was awesome in the Super Bowl too. in the Super Bowl,
No.
I think it was after Hurts's interception. I don't know if he didn't run the right route because that was a terrible throw by Hurts. It was nowhere near him. So I'm assuming I'm putting
he
that.
got hit. He got hit. He got hit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but either way, I think it was after that. But when AJ was barking at Sirianni, then the next play scored a touchtouchdown. I'm like, I love this guy.
That was when it was before the fumble.
Get me the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yo, get him the ball. Okay, our fault too. Go get him the ball. That's what it is.
Good call.
That's what it is. And the great thing about it is, unlike a time we had for half a minute and Noah loves the pass, right? So he'll be locked into this with T.O. and 5, right? We had that minute. The difference with this is these two love each other. I try to tell people this all the time. Yeah. You don't become somebody godparent if there ain't some true love in there. You understand this? There's got to be some true love in there, right? You don't just that's earned. That's earned. These dudes are family, man. Like they're gonna have this sometimes. You never have a problem with a sibling, right? You never went at it with anybody in your family ever. Well, good for you, Brady Bunch. You know what I mean? Because most of us have. Most of us have around up in these neck of the woods, and right, it's just natural. Yeah, that's what you're comfortable with. Right? You ever play football with your boys, like just in the back, like at the out on the grass somewhere? You ever play football with your boys? You don't get one of your guys the ball enough, and he probably deserves it, and he's probably open. You don't hear a little whisper when you come back to the huddle. I would say, man, these dudes are running all around. They ain't trying to run around for no reason. Like, right? You ever play wide receiver before? I played a little tight end. I won the football.
Yeah, I could see being annoyed running a 40-yard fly pattern and I'm wide open and not getting the ball.
Well, listen, Joe Flacco used to hear it from
Saquon picks up 4.
Flacco used to hear it from me. He used to hear it from me. I keep it real. You can ask around, too. This ain't a lie. I'll come back. I'll be open. I say, yo, check your pulse. Is your pulse beating? Right? I used to get on him. I helped him with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. I helped develop him because he's around a real leader of men. He's around a real leader of men, a great teammate. But I also told him I was open. They told me one time you were too slow. I said, Joe, you threw the ball 4.740 at 210. And ain't too slow. You was freaking running around in Group 1. You kidding me? That's like elite tight end talent. You know what I mean? In a Group 1 school, that's like elite tight end talent. That guy flies around. You feel like I'm like a laser beam playing. You know what I mean? If you're running like a 4.7 and under in like most like Group 1 schools, let's play Paul's Marrow, right? They'll let you know that's not fast enough, right? Makes sense. But you play most Group 1, Group 2 schools, that is electric stuff. You know what I mean? But the guy had a cannon.
Tommy, close the yearbook, my guy. All right, close the yearbook.
We're talking. I don't know where we're. I don't know. I forget. Oh, it was about running routes. Like ain't nobody trying to run a route and not get the football. Like damn it! If you like, you know what I mean. If you're a real competitor, a real man, right, you gonna come back to the huddle like, no, I wasn't open. No, just keep. We're good.
Especially when your formula is throwing the ball 10 times a game.
Yeah, I mean,
I want
it. At least AJ's not doing fucking sit-ups in his driveway, you know.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, cotton ball. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But you guys will get back. You know what I mean? You guys will reconvene it. You know what I mean? It's natural. It's a natural cycle.
Goodness Go to gracious. Amazon and purchase Inner Excellence. It'll all be okay.
I mean, like you could be family and smoke it. You could be boys with somebody and smoke them and let them know, right? You know what I mean? I had to let somebody know today. He's my boy, right? He might be here, he might not be here, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you let people know, right? It's not. Nothing's ever attacked when you get here. When you get here, nothing's ever attacked. When you're friends and you consider yourself family, you don't. That's part of it. That's part of it, right? So if Jalen was a softie, like a Ben Simmons type, then the friendship like goes away. Then they're not friends anymore. You know what I mean? Not trying to do the Sixers on us, but like just saying, just saying. Well, listen, keep losing. We'll keep losing.
Did us a favor last night.
All right, we're doing ourselves a favor.
Oh yeah, dude, that was like the Mike Muscala shot all over again. That was huge.
Hell yeah. Mike Biscali got Tyrese Maxey. Real ones know.
In all seriousness, they need to shut down Grimes.
Oh my God!
I'm not even kidding. Shut Grimes down.
Dude, and did you see the lineup that Toronto had at the end of that game too? They were down by a point with like 30 seconds left. They took out all their starters and they put in all their bench guys, like praying they would lose the game. They still won. It's amazing. Like awesome. Scott Barnes, Quickly, Barrett were all out of the game. I'm like, they must be in foul trouble. Not in foul trouble. Like, I just didn't want them to play at the end of the game. Like, they're actively trying to lose.
Yeah. Well, on another note, John, what are you talking about? Are you talking about somebody in the chat? I don't know where you're talking about. He said AJ won't be TO with Jalen and Smith and Saquon around. Stop. Where the exclamation mark really got me there. Stop what? I told you it wasn't going to be that. Did you miss the opening? Did you miss the opening, Johnny? You know what I mean? Come on.
Coming on the ass end of the conversation, John.
Yeah. You like the back end, Johnny? You like to wrestle in the mud, John?
Maybe if your head wasn't so far up there, you would have heard him.
Come on, Johnny. We started an hour and 40 minutes ago.
John, you like a little mud, John?
John, what do you think about Cooper returning
punch? Shut up, Greg. Knock it the hell off. All right? No, but John, no. The beginning it wasn't going to be that because their family. He's a godfather. I mean, he's a godfather. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Jalen's a godfather. Like, it's enough said. I don't even know why we still talk about it. I don't even know why it's even like a conversation ever.
Well, now it's just Patriots fans who now have us talking about it.
No, not
it's
even
never anyone in our locker room. It's other people.
No, exactly. Not even the trade, just the AJ and Jalen in general. If I was a media member, I'd be like, can somebody shut up with the questions? That's what I'll turn around. Shut up with the stupid questions. They're fine. What do you do? You got nothing to write today? That's what you got nothing to write. I know, John. I know. I watched you all year. You write nothing good. I would just tell them how it is. But they don't have enough. They don't have enough, firepower between the legs in there. You know what I mean? They don't have enough firepower. This is dryer sheet city. You know what I mean? You talking about a bunch of guys with a pen and paper? Stop. You make good questions. Some guys who write, knock it off. Anybody who writes is 90% of writers out there are losers. They're losers. Nobody likes writing that much.
Man, good thing I can't read or write.
What would you rather do? Like, think about. Can we talk for a second? What's more fun, talking about it or? You think it's going a mile, man? You're an author. You write a novel. I don't care. I watch the game. I don't need your article insights. I'm sorry. I'm anti-article, and I assume this generation would jump in with me because they already are. You know what I mean? Like, who reads?
I still get a daily news every now and then.
What are you, Dr. Snooze?
We know you.
You get that?
I remember I used to show up at that guy's house with a 12-pack and a daily news.
We got a bunch of authors talking about football. Can we knock it off? That's what's something to stop, John. That's what we show an exclamation mark on right there. Can we stop? I mean, we can start out. Is Steven Spielberg going to come in and start doing interviews? What are we doing here? Bill, it's okay, Bill. That's what gets you tonight, Bill. Sweat, yeah.
You're sweating about it.
Sweat, little drip.
I mean, look, Bill. He had a great Super Bowl, and at times he was a monster, but there were other times where he came up a little empty. So we'll take our chances and let him walk.
I ain't paying him $17 million a year. That's how you cripple a franchise. You know what I mean? That's how you cripple a franchise. 6.5 sacks a year. That's how you cripple. That's Bill. That's when we get caught up. This isn't a shot at you, Bill. I know how you get. You're gonna tell us good night now. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying to you is, what I'm trying to explain is this when you get caught up in the last moment, right? And this is what bad GMs do, right? I'm not calling you a bad GM, Bill. I'm just saying this is what bad GMs do. Is they get caught up into that one moment and they don't realize the guy averaged 5 sacks a year. You know what I mean? Like, or you're a Pro Football Focus guy, and you want to tell me about his pressure rate. His pressure rate's elite. His pressure rate's elite, Tom. All right, good. Then let Jonathan Gavin have it down there with pressure rate. Because
I think that's a lot, by the way, too.
Right in to analytical John.
Yeah.
You could just look at Jonathan Gavin and say, that dude absolutely loves the analytics and stuff. Absolutely. No question about it. He's a loser. You know what I mean? I'm not anti-analytics, but most over-analytic guys are losers.
Daryl Morey.
Yeah, loser. Well documented. You know what I mean? Well documented loser. It's pretty easy stuff here. How he became a combo guard. You know what I mean? That's what you need to be. How he can shoot it, he can pass it. You know what I mean? He can do a little everything. Take you off the dribble. Whatever you want him to do, how he can do. Inside hand exchange.
All Daryl does is shoot. That's all he knows
crossover.
how to do. That's all Daryl knows is shoot. That's
you
it.
ain't a real basketball guy. You don't know about the inside hand exchange. You know what I mean? You ain't a real basketball guy. That's all I can say to guys out there. Let him go to Washington where it's 5 sacks a game, 5 sacks a year in 17 games.
I know that's another thing people get fooled by
He's
too.
got Milano on one side and Lane on the other. He's not getting shit.
I don't care if Miles goes there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sweat's like sacks. The 5-6 sacks a year he gets are always like huge. They're always in big spots. That's why people get fooled too, and the celebration is just so good. It's like you remember it. Like a lot of people get sacks. You don't even remember it, but you always remember when he stares in the camera and hits you with the celly. So don't get fooled.
Josh Sweat's easy to understand. Good. He's good.
He's a good player.
He's a good player.
I'll just say that.
Like, we talking elite or we talking good? Because you sign good to elite money. Ruh-roh.
And I love how just because Washington got Debo, now all of a sudden every player in the country is going to Washington. It's like, we might go to Washington. No one wants to go to that dump.
Dude, and they only have so much money. It's like if you're going to fill it up with guys like Debo, I ain't scared. Again, I'm not scared.
Yeah.
That's just like when the Texans got Stephon Diggs. When the Texans got Stephon Diggs, they were winning the Super Bowl.
What's that Diggs? I mean,
I got fooled by that too. They had the injury plague and Stroud wasn't that good.
They had the injury plague and exactly. It's good. I'm telling you, it's well on pace to be the same exact thing. Well on pace.
Diggs is another.
I think Daniels will be injury prone his whole career. He already had a broken rib early in the year. He plays too reckless. He's not like, and he's a rookie that comes with it.
Injuries aside, I thought the conference was horrible last year. They literally they were the Penn State and the NFL last year. They went the entire season with maybe one impressive year, one impressive win the entire season. We're
talking about 290-pound wide receiver. Yeah, we're talking about 290-pound wide receiver, 290-pound gadget spinner. Imagine that showing up at your door and spin that around. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And people expect us to be worried about this guy. Because Cliffy, the jet sweep, so don't be on board. Shut up. You can smell it coming. Everybody sees him running. Like nobody scared of anything. It's just the guy's a one-trick pony. He can catch a slant. Cool story. You know what I mean? You got low center of gravity. You're overweight.
Support man Jordan Matthews.
Like, what are we scared of?
Stop.
What are we scared of right now? Because of his name? Because of Friday? That's why we're scared of Debo. I get it. Debo was scary in the movie Friday. I understand. I understand your fears as a kid. But this ain't the same guy. Shit, I wasn't scared of Debo when he torched us. I've never been scared of Debo Samuel in my life. Like, I never thought Debo Samuel was elite. People would walk around like Debo Samuel was elite. Like, dude, it's an end reverse. It's an end around. Like,
so selfishly, I want him to be kind of good. I got him in Dynasty, so I want him to be kind of good in Washington.
Yeah, he's gonna look like his dad. You see his dad? You get a real understanding. You get a real understanding what the body's gonna look like in another year. That's all I'm saying, right?
I need him to have a good year next year that I can trade him. All right, that's all I want. Or good first 4 or 5 weeks, I can trade his ass.
Dad's built the same way. So, all right. What else we got on the docket before we get out? Huh?
Let's see. The Sixers are a dumpster fire, and the Phillies are enjoying some sunshine in Clearwater.
That's all they're enjoying. They gave up 3 home runs on 3 straight pitches.
Yeah, who cares?
That was great television.
That was funny. Why Rob was on TV.
That was great television.
Who was pitching? Some guy we don't care about.
No, Luzardo.
Luzardo.
He gave up a grand slam and 2 solo shots in 3 straight pitches.
Other than that, he had a great.
With the
Wheeler
manager,
got lit up
with
yesterday.
the live reaction on 3 straight pitches, it was amazing television. It was amazing.
Guess that rotation isn't quite as deep as we thought, huh?
He just freaking
I'm not worried about their second starts on March 5th.
It's
fine.
Yeah, the Grapefruit League tells you a lot. Time to hang it up. Sell the house.
I just can't.
I mean, I hear you, but man, ooh.
Yeah, but that was funny. Like, how do you like 3 straight pitches?
3 dingers on 3 pitches? Fuck.
Buy a waste pitch, please.
Not a popular opinion here.
I guess the wind was blowing out, huh?
Well, Jesus, he hit it to Jesus 3 times.
Not like, listen, not a, I want to say a popular opinion because we didn't do a lot. But this team's the best team in the division. And I don't really give a shit what anybody has to say about it. I really care less. Mets starters aren't as deep as us and not as good as us, so knock that off. All right? You can knock that off right now.
Clay Holmes.
All right? And
Clay Holmes. You can't – your team automatically has no chance of winning shit if he's on your team. That was it. That was my lesson last year with the Yankees. Anytime you knew he was coming in the game, you had a chance to lose. Didn't matter what the lead was. Didn't matter.
So, like, I'm not. The Mets are good offensively. Don't get me wrong, but you know,
Mets are top heavy.
Yeah, I don't think they can pitch as well as we can.
Yep.
The Braves have question marks in their staff. Sale was great last year. Acuna's coming off another injury, so you see if that starts to take its toll a little bit. They're good, obviously. They're still going to be good. I just think we're better than they are. So I mean, I don't. Okay, I'm talking nonsense. What's an old man retirement home? Guys at 30, 31, pump. That's a retirement home now, babe? I mean, what are we talking about?
Outside of the Dodgers.
Oh, shit, I should be dead then.
Outside of the Dodgers, they're not a
32 years old, the oldest man in the league.
My dad went on my dad went on a whole rant yesterday. We were watching the Phillies preseason, and he was like, dude, he's like, these guys get paid so much nowadays. He's like, preseason is just too long. He's like, back then, they didn't get paid anything. So guys were laying concrete in the offseason. So they needed the month to ramp back up and get in shape. He's like, these guys are coming here already in shape. He's like, it's a waste. The preseason's way too long. Same thing with football. They're getting paid so much. It's like they don't have to get another job. Like back in the day, they had a different job. You're painting, you're laying floors in the offseason.
Yeah, spring training is more for the fans.
All winter.
Yeah.
Spring training,
right?
I think it's
more for Clearwater being a cash cow in the month of March.
Yeah, all these places.
You know what I mean?
So it's money.
Your starting pitching needs to ramp up, but these guys don't need. Obviously, they're not playing every day. They're playing every other day, maybe. Like I think JT said, if he gets like 30, 40 at bats, he's good to go.
Yeah.
So,
I think
you get like 3 weeks to play.
He better be good to go because we need him this year.
I mean,
we're gonna put him out in left field. We're good.
I've never been a JT guy.
Instead of 30 spring training games, I'd be all right if it was cut down to 18 or 20.
Yeah, but then what's the alternative? You're starting major league games in mid-March up in the Northeast?
Well, no, you would just start spring training a little bit later. That's all.
What's the difference?
Yeah, imagine if the season did. I mean, it would never happen.
There really is no difference.
We get to watch baseball for a month.
Right. I guess
you know what I mean? Like in February, in March. Like
if you're a diehard, then I guess you could appreciate it. But for me, I think I think it's a little long.
And for those, you just don't tune in then, right?
Right. That's kind of how
they don't even give you the option to tune in. That's the worst part about it. You get to watch like one of every 15 games. They're never televised.
Yeah, typically they're only televised on the weekends, right?
Yeah, but it's more for the fans going down there. It's more for the interaction with the players.
Right.
And it's more for players do like to get revved up. So, like we said, some guys are good with 30 at bats. Some guys need 45, 50. So, you play off your starters on what they need, and you get a look at guys that you won't see. You don't get to see a lot of. And you get a little bit more of an extended look. So I mean, it has its purpose if you understand the game.
Well,
for sure.
A really good purpose like that we didn't talk about is Schwarber is now not leading off, which is like pinch me if I'm dreaming. I can't believe it. Like that was like frowned upon. Like you were not allowed to do that. You weren't even allowed to speak about it or touch it. You're an idiot. And now all of a sudden, I guess because we made no changes in the offseason, we're just going to change the lineup around. So fuck it. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, Turner is probably the prototypical leadoff hitter. He's had success there.
The only thing that sucks about Turner is that it makes Harper bat second because of the righty lefty. I don't love Harper in the 2-hole. I like him in the 3-hole.
I love it because if you're looking at like these different teams, or I know Shohei was leading off last year for the Dodgers, but then you got Mookie batting second. Like you're talking obviously like there's 2 MVPs there, but I think Mookie is still incredibly underrated, even though like I think he's a top 10 player in baseball. And it may not seem like it, and like, oh, maybe there's not 2 guys on base every time Bryce is up to bat. But he's getting another 2-3 at bats a week, I think, probably, right? By just being up that one spot in the order. How many times has he been left on deck before? Right? You want your guys like that are playing, you want your best players to get as many at bats as possible. That's why Shohei let off last year. Do it 50-50. So
it's true. Like I even do it at our level at times. If I feel like we're not deep enough lineup wise or different things like that, then okay. You don't got to be prototypical, but I want you to get the most at bats throughout the year because you'll see it at the end of the year. It's definitely real. And that's in a short sample size. Better yet, 162. So those 3 at bats a week per se really add up over 162, where that guy got a lot more at bats. So it's pros and cons to it. Like, we won a lot of games with Schwarber leading off. There's a recipe there. He's really good in the leadoff spot. He hasn't had a lot of success elsewhere, but that doesn't necessarily matter either, right? So
our team was really good. It's like, he was the leadoff for like 3 years.
Yeah, but our record when he hits the leadoff homer is sort of ridiculous. So there were some things. There were some things, but again, I like Turner better leading off anyway. So it's not. I'm not Schwarber lead off guy. I was just making the point that he struggled when he has it. That's all.
Yeah. Baseball got so Excel sheeted. Like it's so much analytics now. It's like almost just ruined. Like there's no feel for anything anymore. It's just like, we're in the 7th inning and here comes a lefty opportunity. We got to do it.
Yeah, I hear more about the fucking exit velocity than I do their goddamn batting average,
Yeah. So it's the pitching too. It's like, well, 3rd time around the lineup, the numbers don't lie. Like, okay, well, you give a guy 3 at bats, no shit. Like, I don't think it even matters about who the guy is. It's the guy's 3rd at bat. But the numbers, like, I don't know. I think analytics get over analyzed. Major league
overdone. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
like every number has a reason.
Last year, at leadoff hole, Kyle Schwarber had 692 plate appearances. Out of the 3-hole, Bryce Harper had 631. Or usually 3-hole, right?
So if
you move them up to from 1 to 3, it's 60 at bat or 60 plate appearances.
Yeah, that's why I never understood the Schwarber thing either. Because like, if the whole point is,
so it's tough to call Trey's time, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
if the whole point is to get your best hitter, then why doesn't Harper just lead off?
Well,
I don't think he should. I'm not on that train, but
to your point, that's exactly why I miss Charlie Manuel in the dugout, man. He went with his gut. He trusted his eyes and what he saw with his ball club.
That's every sport but baseball for some reason.
Yeah.
Me and Greg talk about Stott all the time. Stott to me is the X factor. Like if he could just have a monster year, like to me, that's your prototypical leadoff. He is the best 2-strike hitter in sports. He literally has 7, 8, 9, 10 pitches in that bat every single time. Even when he's hitting like shit, he has 10 pitch at bats. So it's like, and he's a lefty. So if you get him leading off, Turner at the 2-hole, Harper at the 3-hole, like to me, that's your Bone at the 4, Schwarber at the 5. Like that's your lineup. But you can't put Stott up there if he's going to struggle.
Well, I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I see him hitting 285, 290.
Yeah, and I think if he starts doing that, we can have the conversation. But I like a.
Well, you also can.
I like a Turner. Sorry, I like a Turner. You do a couple ways, but I don't really want to lead off Bryce. But I like a Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber.
That's what they've been going with.
Castellanos, yeah, that's what they've been doing.
When they've had their starters play, that's what they've been going for.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
Casty or JT 5, right?
Yeah, just depending on who's really
you
swinging.
probably go Stott 6, and then whoever you don't put JT or probably JT's in that 7 spot, then Stott, and
Kepler.
Kepler, and then whoever's playing center field.
Marsh.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, that's a good
you
lineup.
can probably start having that Stott leadoff conversation when we start talking next year, right? Because Schwarber's in theory off contract, right? Whatever, if you bring him back, you bring him back. But you can maybe start having that conversation, especially if he does have a bounce back year, like we all kind of hope.
Yeah, pumped.
For sure.
I appreciate the super chat, but they're not that old. In baseball, years are not. Yeah, they're not that old. I don't know where you're.
I feel like people think they're old because they're tired of the run. Not tired of it, but just don't believe in it. I think that's why they think they're old.
Yeah,
People they don't really believe that they can actually win.
I know it feels like forever ago, but they were in the World Series 3 years ago. It's not like it was that far long ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they won 90, 91, no, like 95 games last year, something like that.
Yeah.
We go from daycare to life care. Oh man.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I mean,
I do think we have a ton of lefties. Like that just randomly hit me on the spring training too. I was watching. I'm like, God damn, Brandon Marsh, Max Kepler, Harper, Schwarber, Stott. I feel like we have a shit ton of lefties. I know I'm missing one.
In the back half of our rotation,
I think you got him. Yeah, we got 3 lefties in the rotation.
Oh, was Marchand a lefty? Lefty
switched.
hitter or no? Oh, okay.
Marchand's a switcher.
But Stubby's a lefty.
Stubbs a lefty. Yeah, that's who it was.
Stubbs is starting in AAA this year. He's got options.
Yeah, he's gone anyway.
Yeah.
Cody Clemens is probably going to make it, so he's a lefty.
Clemens?
Yeah, he's
a
lefty.
He's out of options.
Cody.
He's out of options.
Yeah.
That Riconias kid too is a freaking stud, and he's a lefty.
Yeah.
Riconias Jr.
Yeah.
He's like what, 22, 23, something like that.
24.
24.
24. It was name I remember him drafting, and I'm like, man, if this kid could, can turn into something. And he was hurt for a couple of years, but he's finally seen the ball and mashing it. It's just the problem is there's no spot for him right now, right? And they're not going to bring a kid like that up just to sit the bench. That's what Marsh and Rojas will platoon doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you get a long-term injury from a Casty or a Kepler or a Marsh. Then with the spring he's having, you might see him now, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. They still might go Cal Stevenson probably over him. But he is mashing the hell out of the ball in spring training. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's a lefty too, isn't he? Cal Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're good on lefty. Except for pitching, really, I guess. You got Rain. Oh, no, we got Sanchez. Never mind. Ranger and Sanchez.
And Luzardo.
And Luzardo. 3 lefties.
I think he stinks, but listen. Who knows?
He diced up us.
Hey, man, his first start was really good. Second one was bad. We'll see how the third one goes. Make a decision then.
Yeah.
I wasn't too thrilled with the 5 ERA last year that he had, but
it's in Miami. Come on.
I hear you. Was he hurt a little bit last year?
Everybody is better than Taijuan Walker. Everybody.
Oh yeah,
everybody is better than Taijuan Walker.
You're not lying. How the hell is he back this year, Walker?
Nobody wants.
He's making $20 million.
Oh, that's the best job in sports, dude. He gets to sit at the top step. Oh my God, he's got the best seat now.
John
Just right
Middleton
at the top
would be
step.
better off giving me that $20 million, and I could give the Phillies more than what Taiwan Walker has.
He's got the best job, dude. He literally just gets to sit at the top step every postseason run, just right on the stairs. Like, who gave him that seat?
He's the Phillies' Kenny Pickett. He's the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Nah, he's freaking.
And he'll be a trade piece to a team that needs to, aka the Marlins, a team that needs to get to the salary floor so they can get the revenue
floor
sharing.
Needs innings. He'll give you 5 innings of 6-run ball.
Yeah, and I'll go down and watch what he pitches against the Phillies and no hits them.
Probably, yeah. There you go.
Listen, mid July against the Oakland, I'll still be betting this over 2.5 strikeouts, sweating it because I'm just bored.
No, it's not Oakland anymore. It's where are they?
Whatever that is.
Such an
in Sacramento, California.
Sacramento A's.
What a joke!
Is it really?
I think they're
really.
Yeah.
They're in Sacramento. Yep. So instead of being by the bay, they'll be in Sacramento where it'll be fucking 105 degrees in July, and they'll be losing 8-2 every night.
No, they spent some money this offseason. They're going to lose like 5-2.
Hey, Greg, how's Lone Depot Marlins Park or whatever the fuck they call it?
It's not bad. It's not bad. I've been there a couple times.
Does it seem like
I missed the fish tank.
Does it have the atmosphere of an empty warehouse when you walk in there?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Except for like when the Phillies are in town or a good team's in town.
Well, of course, because Philly transplants will make the short trip over.
I mean,
is there a line for the slide, or you don't get to go on?
There's no, there's no.
No, that's at Miller Park. That's at Miller Park.
That's at Miller. Yeah.
I missed the fish tank. The fish tank was awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't mind Lone Depot. I mean, it's not. It's a freaking. It's an indoor dome, right? You know what I mean? Like you said, it's a warehouse, but cheap tickets, easy to get in and out of. So.
Yeah, and it's only a 3-hour ride from your house.
We usually take the train, so it's like a 5-hour train ride.
That's not bad.
Yeah, my parents
have a 12-pack, take a nap, and then you're there.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at tickets for when Phillies come down to play the Rays, and they're over at the Yankee Stadium this year, the Spring Training Stadium at George Steinbrenner. Dude, those prices are insane. Like already, like they want like $250 for right behind home plate.
Can't hear you.
Like, they owe Home Depot $500 million.
Yeah. They're like
they're trying to
even
build
like
their ship back
second level. They want like over $100 for second level. I'm like, what is going on here, people?
Well, that's because it's only a 10,000 seat stadium instead of 40.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Rays only got 10K people a game anyway. So now their games are going to finally be sellouts. There we go.
Shouldn't be any different.
Last time they had a sellout was the 08 World Series.
Yeah. I can't even believe the Rays still play in Tampa.
They're getting a new stadium where they were supposed to.
Oh, did they approve? Where are they? Are they building it in St. Petersburg?
They were supposed to.
Yeah.
They should put it down near where the Bucks play. I've been down. I went to Eagles Bucks a couple of years ago.
I hate that area.
Yeah, it's not great. There was a bunch. I did like the fact that there was a bunch of people tailgating on lawns. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, that's the funny thing. Yeah, you drive up and down the side streets and people are out there just like you're at Lambeau, right? Like, yep, here's my driveway, $20. Let me finish
that was pretty cool. I like that. that stadium stinks though. It's just it's like a college stadium. That thing stinks.
Yeah. Have you ever been up to Buffalo? They do the same similar tailgating situation as in Green Bay. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
We were partying in somebody's backyard. Yeah, we had a great time.
Of course, we lost the fucking game when I went up there back in 2011, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Deshaun Jackson score a touchdown from Ryan Fitzpatrick in that Eagles-Bucks game after we won the Super Bowl. What was that, 2018, I think we went down there?
Yeah.
So that was fun. I think it was like 110 degrees that day. It was hot as shit.
Yeah.
Sweating my ass off. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't have a lot with Phil's right this minute. I'll get heated up. As they warm up, we'll heat up. But I do disagree with the people that it's like all boom or bust. And yeah, they've had their ups and downs offensively, but it's still a good baseball team.
Yeah.
I do want to say I think it's interesting. This is the first offseason in a long time we haven't really made a splash. And I do believe, depending on how the season goes, we talked about it earlier, Tom, today. Depending how it goes, you think that's like 2 years from now is the window. I think they make a move at the deadline. Depending on how the first half goes, I think the deadline is where they're going to hunt because they haven't done that in years prior. They've done it in the offseason. So I think they've just said, you know what, let's see what we have, and then we'll fill our needs at the deadline because we haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, no, true.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to make the Austin Hayes signing. You know what I'm saying? We did that with Max Kepler. Like I don't think we're going to make like the little moves. Like I think at the deadline it's going to be something
big.
Just my opinion. Depending how the season goes. I mean, you start off blazing hot, it's going to be hard to touch.
It makes sense because the way they treat this offseason is they're putting it all on the players, right? Yeah, you got all these guys making $300, $350 million, whatever money, right? You got all these guys making all this money. It's not got to be on them now, right? It's got to be on Bryce. It's got to be on Trey, Kyle, JT, Nicky, right? It's got to be on these guys to carry this team. And then you go to the pitching staff. And so I think that's what they're, Mikey, you're not wrong, right? You're going to see what these guys do in the first half, and as you approach the deadline, what do we need to do, right? What do we need to do to supplement these guys because they're either rocking it or they're rolling it, and then you're going to see some guys move off.
Yeah, fun thing to look for in July around the deadline. Look at what the Blue Jays are doing, right? Because if the Blue Jays are bad,
are you going where I think you're going?
They're not good. There's a guy playing first base right there who's in the last year of his contract. And a certain Bryce Harper said something the other day. If we make a significant upgrade at first base, he'll move back to the outfield. Look at what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing around July, right? See how low Toronto is in that down in those standings in the AL East. I know that Toronto's been like rumored to be interested in paying guys that they haven't done a whole lot.
Yep.
But like, what's he gonna get? Is he gonna get $600-700 million? Look for that. Not saying it's I wouldn't be surprised if they sign him to an extension well before that because again he's their best player. But just keep an eye on that.
I like the thought because the longer Pete Alonso stayed out there, I thought the same thing. Like, just sign Pete. Just bring him in, right? Just give me a right-handed power bat in the lineup. And this was even before Bryce even made that declaration that he would go back to the outfield. Hearing that was just like, yes, let's go. Let's go get somebody then. Like, let's make that happen.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, boys. We good?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Great show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. HED Wednesday nights. Time for some sleep. We'll see you next Wednesday.